whipping, babe. Cool out, you know I got it. Win another 4, babe. Chop, chop, breaking down this product.
Turn me up, Mark.
We riding out, you worry about my comings and my goings. And I'm going out doing 100 miles per hour, blood blowing. Cause I'm stressed, I fight the tight feeling in my chest. But pity ain't in me, keep that for the rest. I'ma cook up, break it down, back it up, include that shit. Hurry up, we back me up, so girl be good for goodness sakes. If you wanted a clown, go back to the streets. The circus hold you down, wolf tickets go for cheap. As for me, I'ma stay wrist deep. Get off another elbow and flex his bicep in the streets. Don't know better, ask about me. I'm solid from the lock, follow goals to submit on my feet. Stir me while I'm rapping, babe. Cool out, you know I got it. Win another 4, babe. Chop, chop, breaking down this product. Now stir me while I'm whipping, babe. Cool out, you know I got it. Win another 4, babe. Chop, chop, breaking down this product. Get out the mud and you clean up right. You can bet your bottom dollar I'ma be alright. I remember too clear, too many long nights with a stomach too empty and the full foresight. I can get it for the 4, make the birds take flight. From a dirty floor to Camaro sound nice. Get a little distant when the goal's in sight. Before I die, I'ma live the best life of all time. And you can be by my side. I need you here by my rear, be the left to my right. Please don't trip, cause I'm fine. I'm in another zone, bring the zone, take to the house, to the goal line. Stir me while I'm whipping, babe. Cool out, you know I got it. Win another 4, babe. Chop, chop, breaking down this product. Now stir me while I'm whipping, babe. Cool out, you know I got it. Win another 4, babe. Chop, chop, breaking down this product. What they really want from me. Only God knows, 8, 10 toes, G is what I'm gonna be. What they really want from me. Only God knows, 8, 10 toes, G is what I'm gonna be. Solo, on me a 3. Me and my pistol, the self-made dreams. I see smoke screens, fake dabs on the scene. See more loyalty from these fucking dope fiends. Fake friends address them more or less. Only day ones cause of mama address. Rep the same hood, but it ain't good. Fall of hell to get out, left from where they stood. What's understood never need to be explained. Blood leaves the heaviest stains. Gun residue remains in the flesh a few days. Inhale the demons of pain. What I speak seems insane. If you ain't bagged up the brick of the purest cocaine, Hennessy and heal most pain, most days broken bones ache.
Check.
Whenever it rains. What they really want from me. Only God knows, 8, 10 toes, G is what I'm gonna be. What they really want from me. Only God knows, 8, 10 toes, G is what I'm gonna be. Topic of discussion even when I get low. Check my bank account to see if gossip paid dough. No, so I keep doing, let them keep talking. The legend shall grow. Bow how we used to, remember what he went through. Who the fuck sent you? They don't know what I'm into. Transparency, me Move like a ghost, mind your bones and flesh. Money stay silent, pencil stay beside it. Mind screaming loud, heart keep it quiet. Money stay silent, pencil stay beside it. Mind screaming loud, heart keep it quiet. Like what they really want, what they really want from me. Only God knows. Take 10 toes, she is what I'm gonna be. What they really want, what they really want from me. Only God knows. Stay 10 toes, she is what I'm gonna be. What?
Mike, check, check, check. Mike, check. 1, 2. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir. How's
What's
that?
Sir.
good?
Y'all
What's
can hear me?
good? Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Yep,
sir.
yep.
Everybody good?
Yep.
All right, let's do it. Welcome to the SPS podcast. This evening we'll be talking about boys to men escaping trauma and stereotypes. Before we get into any of the videos and statistics, I'm gonna welcome some of my guests in. Again, we'll have some more stand-up guys and young women joining us, but we're gonna introduce what we got on the panel, and we're gonna go from there. Starting to my right, y'all welcome Uno to the stage. What's up, bro? All
Ready?
right.
Good, bro.
Beneath we got
What's
Bino.
up,
What's
man?
up, brother?
What's up?
Good, y'all.
And to his right, Wardy, what's going on, brother?
Going on?
Bless, 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 man. Glad to have y'all here, man. We definitely gonna get to it this evening, man. Think we'll start it off. We'll slow roll them. Like I said, we still waiting on some of the panelists to show up, but I think we can get started. Like I said, they'll just catch up where they come in at. We got a lot of stats, a lot of videos and questions to get to. So I guess we'll start it with the stats like we normally do. Also, to everyone watching, I am Jay Strada, your host. Like I said, let's get into it. So by the numbers, bring this up on the screen. I'm gonna read this out real quick. While making up only 15% in public schools, black boys are suspended at a rate of 39%. 45% of black students attend high poverty schools compared to 8% of whites. In 2021, 1,087 black men were incarcerated per 100,000 people in the U.S., the highest in all ethnic groups. The unemployment rates of black men is 7.3% compared to 3.4% of white men looking for work. We are the highest. Black men die more than 7 years earlier than any race of women and die younger than every ethnicity except for Native Americans. And lastly, black men from 15 to 34, which only makes up 2% of the population, are 37% of gun homicides. I'm going to let that sit for a minute. I'll let you all take it in. Y'all can kind of give me a head nod or a salute when y'all got a chance to really digest what's going on here, and then we'll get started, okay? All right. You good, Bino?
I'm good to go.
All right, dope. All right. So let's start with you, Uno. Which stat pops out to you the most?
I mean, I work in the school system, so a lot of times, I mean, that's one of the main ones for me because it all starts with school, um, and that's what I really try to focus on now in my personal life outside of the music and the film stuff. Like right now, I'm just in the school system doing what I got to do through the YMCA and things of that nature, and it's all across the board, bro. How we grew up, how other people are growing up. All these young black boys, man, from the West Coast all the way to, North Carolina, is all the same. It just looks different, but it's literally all the same. So that right there is something that I strive to have my hand in. That I feel like is a system that I can have, full control on and turn it, the way that I want to turn it in my own little world. You know what I'm saying? So I could take that and, plant that seed in a young black youth, and they can go on and and do what they got to do, because the school system is tied to everything. The school system is tied to the other statistics as well, the sex statistics, the jail statistics, all that prison pipeline. The school system is one of the biggest corrupt systems that we have, and a lot of times people tend not to do that, or they tend not to talk about it because, I mean, attacking the school system is something that's frowned upon, because we got our uncles that work there, we got our cousins, our sisters, our brothers, our parents work as in school system. So you look at the school system from that point of view, like, well, my mom works in the school system, so it's not bad, but she's dealing with things she probably don't even talk about to you behind closed doors. But I feel like school system is definitely something that is very, very, very important that we should focus on, especially with young black boys. And I won't go too deep into it because I know
Yeah.
I want
We're
everybody
gonna
else to
slow
share
cook.
before we get into it. Yeah.
Absolutely. Bino, what you got? Which stat stood out to you?
None of them stood out. The biggest one stood out was probably the 37% of the gun homicides, and with the, what was it, 5 to 3% of the population.
Yep.
Yeah, that was the biggest one that stood out number wise. But for me, with the stats, it's stuff I already know, man. You know, stuff I don't know the exact numbers, but you know, like you just presented. But I mean, I pay attention. Um, like Uno said, the school system is something too. Public school system. It's not set up to cater to black boys. So, you know, I don't know how that'll ever work in America. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like we have to start governing ourselves more than anything, because the public school system, the American school system, my mom come from the school system as well, as y'all know. Y'all remember what she told us, like, she don't even believe in that stuff no more. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the way it's set, it's not set up for us to succeed. They'll never cater for us or care enough for us to succeed. And the people that could change that, I don't think will ever care. You feel what I'm saying? We know who are in them higher ups governments and these state laws and all these laws that's passed. Nobody gives a damn about us. In return, we don't give a damn about each other as well. The people that are leaders that has voices to the mass of us. You know, nobody preaches positivity. You know what I'm saying? I wish different people had bigger voices, to be honest. Yeah, I'm into music. Yeah, I watch movies. Yeah, I do all that. But being the man I am today and understanding things, like, we don't got no Malcolm X's. We don't got no Marcus Garveys. We don't got no MLKs. You know what I'm saying? Like, that influence is fucked up, man. It's a deaf culture. Like I said like I always say, man, we represent the deaf culture, man.
Yeah. I think that the one of the issues we have is that back when we had the Marcus Garveys and the Malcolm X's, I think as a people we were in a different place, right? I think the idea that as black people we were striving for equality, it made it easier for a spokesperson to step up and lead the charge. I don't think that as a people we are in tuned enough, like we're not excited enough to pick another young leader or someone that's emerging as a leader to speak about these issues, because not as organized as we used to be, right? And I don't think that everyone sees it as a problem like they did when we were fighting for equality, right? And so I think that that's kind of one of the biggest shifts, like you said, in leadership. Was back then there was a collective consciousness that agreed that, hey, we need to be equal. So it was easy for you, not easy, but it was easier for us to find the Medgar Evers, for us to find the Martin Luther Kings, for us to find the Malcolm X's, for us to find the Marcus Garveys. That was something that was collectively decided by men and women of color that we need to be represented. Like you said, I think that it falls on deaf ears when those that are most affected don't see the dire need to find representation.
Yeah, we already gonna have to battle against the algorithm thing on the internet, and you know, because it's some guys out, it's some independent young leaders out here, but we don't hear them, right? They get overshadowed by the music, the movies, and the negativity. So just understanding the enemy itself first and foremost. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, I agree exactly what you said. Like, the people that go through it and actually know what's going on, they don't even care enough to, you know what I'm saying? Like, each his own, I guess, is out here now. It's the each his own mentality. You know what I'm saying?
That part. Before we get to Wardy, I want to welcome Leem to the building. DJ Leem in the building. What's up, brother? think you're muted, brother. Yo,
Can you hear me
Lee
now?
muted. Yeah, I can hear you now, brother.
What's going on, everybody?
Chilling,
What's up,
chilling.
man?
What's up, brother?
Well,
All right. We're gonna go to Wardy, and then we're gonna slide to you, Liam, here in a second. So, Wardy, which statistic stood out to you the most?
I was gonna say, I ain't gonna lie, the same one Bino said, the gun violence one, like is just very scary at this time. You know what I'm saying? With gun violence and the young boys getting the, you know, big high power guns with the big clips on them and whatnot. So, and they using them. You feel me? So that's a very alarming statistic to me.
That makes sense. Like you said, I think it's the availability of these weapons that make them such a higher risk than what they were before. Again, they're so easily accessible. I'm not saying that they weren't always in existence. I just think that we're living in a time to where it's easier to get than it was before, and that's always most of these young guys' mentality of going there first, right?
Well, that ball has been getting bigger and bigger since the 90s. It never slowed down.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
True
real.
indeed.
What do you got on it, Ling?
As far as just like the increase in availability of weapons, just like to like just the general consumer,
Yeah.
I think I don't know. You know, I'm more of like a recreational person. I'll try whatever it is I can try if it's convenient. So for me as a consumer, I'm like, yeah, that's what's up. Now I get to play with these things. I'm not ever going to use them in real life, right? But it's like now I get to play with them, and I think a lot of people have that mentality, and then they're challenged by what they see other people doing with them. So like, oh, now that I got this, and this convenient for me to get this and get that. Like I know guys 17, 18 years old. That's what they put in their stories now. You know, they've been doing that since Biden came into office, and there was this big scare with him shutting down the gun laws and stuff like that. So everybody just started buying up guns. But when you operate out of fear, that's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get people that's like, hey, I don't even think I have it in me to actually shoot somebody, but if it comes down to me having to do it, I'm gonna have one just because it's that convenient. And I think that alone is just gonna put up the statistic just because it's more convenient. If you put a cigar shop in the middle of a street that doesn't have, plenty of homes but no other businesses, it's gonna get business just because it's convenient, and that's the way I see that.
That makes sense. That definitely makes sense. Zion Israel, he asked, could he get on? I'm gonna see if I can find a way to get you a link in the back chats. Give me a second to work that out, because like I said, we are live now. Normally like to send out the links before time, but again, we'll see if we got space tonight. We're gonna have a pretty packed house, but definitely keep supporting us through the comments, man. And again, I'll find a way through the back channels to see if we can get you a link, though, brother. Bless it. All right, let's keep moving, man. Like I said, people gonna be rolling in, popping out. Let's get to our first video. Well, nah, before we get to our first video, let me ask a question. Let me pose the first question. And again, answer if you got something personal. If not, like I said, you can add on and add context. But the first question I want to pose to you all this evening, can you share a personal story of example of how you navigated and healed from trauma as a black man? Give me a personal story or an example of how you navigated and healed from trauma as a black man. And we'll start with Bino. What you got?
I mean, for me, it's actually a journey. It's a life journey when it comes to this question right here, and navigating and getting and being healed from trauma. It's actually a journey because this is what I tell my boys right now. I say, listen, remember. I say, because if you always listen and remember, if you don't understand, you'll understand later, right? So when I'm telling you now, you don't have to understand it now, but just listen and remember it. You know what I'm saying? And as time comes, you'll understand, right? So it's kind of like that. As a kid, you come up a kid, you don't know, you know what I'm saying? Things seem normal, right? It's just like anything else. When somebody's born and raised, whatever, they born and raised is normal. There's nothing abnormal about it, right? But you become this young adult, and you out in the world. You know what I'm saying? So the effects of life and what the world is really about, you start to see, right? And based on being a kid, you react or you respond, you know, based on that, right? Based on that manner of how, I can't necessarily say how you was raised, because I think a lot of us came from like single mothers or even fathers, 2-parent households that told us the right thing or tried to tell us the right thing. But you learn better from what you hear, what you see. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's the big thing. But becoming an adult, the world start to affect you, the way it start affecting you, and you respond based on that. You respond based on your environment. You respond based on your financial class. You respond on these different things, right? For me personally, that brung on. I blame myself for a lot of things. Like, I don't like to throw off blame. I made choices that actually caused trauma, I say, as an adult.
Yeah.
Like, I can really speak on the kid part because you can't help that. But even even coming through what you come through as a kid, whether it's a single household, whether it's you in the hood, whatever it is, you feel me? You can't control that as a kid. But I really believe coming in as an adult, you have to you make choices now, right? Because you hear a little bit of everything. You might come from this, but you hear about better. There's opportunities out here based on our generation, right? So you make a choice. For me, them choices cause trauma as an adult. You know what I'm saying? Them choices that I made. How did I navigate and heal from it? I stopped making those choices. First of all,
makes sense.
I was, self accountability, right?
Yeah.
Shun yourself before anybody else can shun you, right? Get that on the way. I'm big on spirituality too, and believing in God. So I navigated through that way. So I really can't give you one example. It's just a journey that I still work on to this day, to tell you the truth.
That's real.
You know what I'm saying? But the big pieces of the trauma I healed from through prayer, spirituality, meditating. Like I say, shunning myself, being self-accountable, knowing you made a choice regardless of the situation. You made that choice. There was other choices to be made, right? I decided who I wanted to listen to, and I made it based on that. So that's what I can give y'all right now. Let the other guys chop it up, though.
Gotcha. Lean, what you got? Give me a personal story of example of how you navigated and healed from trauma as a black man.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Bino. It's a continuing journey. Until I'm gone and no longer on this earth, I can't say that I've successfully navigated through all the trauma I'm actually going to experience. But the steps that I've taken, what's the path looking like? How's it been built so far? I would have to say, the first thing I did was, get outside of my comfort zone. I had to challenge myself. I had to, remove some arrogance, just start seeking knowledge, and just owning up to, habits and traits that I had that I knew just in the real world wouldn't convert to anything. So listening to Andrew Tate podcast not too long ago, he simplified it in 3 words, and it was like, you're one of these 3. And it was like a realization moment for me, because it was like, all right, let me hear what these 3 are. And he's like, you either lazy, stupid, or arrogant. And he's like, most people are not lazy because you get up every day, you go to work, you do what you have to do to, put food on your family's table, right? Most people are not stupid because you have access to information. You're on the internet, everything is accessible for free now on YouTube. So I'm like, what's the third one? He got to arrogance. I'm like, well, damn it, I'm arrogant. You know what I'm saying? And I just got to live with that and know, all right, this is something that I need to work on, because if I don't fall into any of those 3 categories, then I shouldn't fail, ultimately. And granted, this is one guy saying this, but, I'm not going to debate with somebody who's casually showing people how to make, millions of dollars, and who's done it himself, not just measuring success by the amount of money he has, but also by his following and his impact, and him and others as well. So when I think about the path, it's always a quest for knowledge, and it starts from never being comfortable. When out of putting myself in situations that are not like the day before. It's like I go every single day.
Makes sense. That's a bar.
If for the next person go, like Kaleem said, he absolutely right. That's me too. I made choices off arrogance, because even with having knowledge, even with knowing better, the arrogance make you make those choices. Because like sometimes being smart could be an evil thing, or having knowledge it can it almost mean good. Sometimes people use that knowledge for bad. You feel what I'm saying? Because of arrogance. But that's all I want to say. I had to bounce off that. Definitely was the arrogance. Definitely.
So, like you said, either you lazy, you stupid, or you arrogant.
Definitely.
Before we go any further, y'all welcome CJ to the panel. What's up, brother?
Hey,
DJ.
Bless.
I thought them game times now.
All right. Before we go any further, let's get CJ. Let's get you in there, and then either Jonathan or Woody can answer, depending on if y'all got a personal story, and then we'll keep it pushing.
What we doing?
Share a personal story or example of how you navigated and healed from trauma as a black man.
Boy, where do I start? Man, how deep we trying to go with this? I guess. I mean, I'm gonna be real with you. Around about what I was 11, had this lady who shall not be named. Back when I was in Orlando, little nigga in Orlando, went to this girl's house that I was cool with in school, and I went to her house. She wasn't there yet. I guess she was with her dad or whoever, but the mom was there, and she let me just chill there while I wait for her to get there. She gave me like something to drink, and before you know it, your boy was out. Like I was out. When I woke up, I was in her bed. She was beside me. She was knocked out. Nick was feeling woozy, uneven, and then all I could think of was just, what the fuck's going on? You feel me? So I only grabbed my shorts and my tank top. I never got my shoes. I never got my actual t-shirt or my drawers. Just the shorts that I found and a tank top. And I was out. And I ran out of that area. I don't even want to name the exact location of the area, but I ran out of that area, and I ended up running into my cousin Miti, who, she died later on, God rest her soul. But I ran into her, and I couldn't even explain to her because I was like, the whole time I'm running, I'm feeling like wobbly and not even trying to run. Like at that time, I didn't know what the fuck happened. I just know shit went down. And when I got with her, she snatched me up, put me in the car, and then we went to her house. And then she basically like stripped me down and tried to figure what's going on. And when she realized, she told me to take a shower, and she kind of just broke down to me. While I was in the shower, she was sitting on the toilet, just explaining to me what potentially happened. And then she asked me, like, who was it? I told her who I was with, where I was at. But she left while I was still at the house. And I guess she bop with the lady and came back like 2 hours later. But by the time this pod dropped, this would be my first time my mom or anybody gonna hear anything about this. But this shit, it's real. But basically, that was basically the first time I lost my virginity. Some shit went down, and years later, it became like I don't know if I want to say it's the reason why I became so extremely sexually active throughout school, or I mean that's probably what it is. Because not everybody was sexually active back then. Yeah, they might have talked the talk, but I was the motherfucker that was like behind the scenes, really going in. Especially in high school, I was out there, but I was very promiscuous about it. Mm-hmm. But I was definitely sexually active without trying to show it. Yeah, at a young age, stupid young age. Now you would think, most young dudes back then that used to act like they was getting ass, they was doing this, they was doing that at a young age. They be bragging about it. But then you meet guys like me, and I only met one other dude that was in a similar situation like that from our hometown. And where he wasn't bragging about that shit. It was more like it happened, and he don't even know how to handle it, how to think about it, how to process it. It happened. Like I'm pretty sure we all know at least one other dude that was messing around with a grown ass woman. This nigga was in like 8th, 9th grade. Like some dudes will brag about that, while other dudes take that shit differently. And I guess at that time I took it a different route. I wasn't over here bragging about it. It was more like I got to keep doing the same thing that just went down. I don't know. I didn't know how to really deal with that until I got into the Army, and then I got free therapy. That the first thing I ever did with therapy was based off of that childhood event. And where she broke it down was, it happened once, It didn't happen again, at least not with that woman, but it happened once and it affected me all these years. And she asked me, what did I do to resolve it or
Yeah.
to heal from it or get over it? And I said, I didn't really think about it because I was that young. I didn't put a thought to like, is that something I'm supposed to heal from? Is it something that it's affecting me? Is it hurting
You
me?
blacked it out. You blacked it out.
Exactly. I
Yeah.
never, yes, that's the word I'm looking for. My brain instantly said, this is what happened. Put it to the back of your head, put it in a box, block it out.
Right.
It's done, it's
Keep it pushing.
over. Yeah, and just carry on. Like, yeah, it happened. It is what it is. But in reality, when I think about all the shit I did afterwards, it got worse. I realized that, oh, this is the reason why I was doing this. This is the reason why I was doing it. This is the reason why that I'm picky about women. This is the reason why I don't chase women. This is the reason why I did that. It was a whole lot of things that kind of justified it. And I learned it all from dealing with that therapist. Shout out to Miss Smith. That's the therapy lady.
Fire. Make sure y'all go get therapy, man.
Yeah,
Hey,
for sure.
that's what the brain does too. It will. That's one of the defense mechanisms some people, a lot of us have, is like our brain to just shut
Block
it
some shit
down,
out.
like black it out.
Like it never
But
happened.
it's still there. It's just that the light ain't cut back on yet. You feel what I'm saying?
Makes sense.
So another thing that really got me was while I did that there for like 4 months, and it was all revolving around basically from childhood all the way up to me joining the army, and how throughout my whole life I was going through all these sexual activities nonstop, and not once did I ever think to myself, why am I doing this? Why am I going through it? You know what I'm saying? I was just doing it blindly, and it wasn't until I actually met that woman at a cookout, bro. I came home. I was on leave. It was like a little family event they had at back at hometown, and I ran into her. I ran into her, bro. And at that time, my cousin was still alive. I met my cousin first, said hey to her, whoop de whoop, and then I ran into that lady. And for like a hot minute, I was never really thinking about that situation until I ran into her for the first time in like 10, 15 some years, right? And I run into her, she's just like, oh, hey, and my cousin was right there. She stood right in front of me like a bodyguard and real shit. And that split moment, I'm at this point, I'm like, what, 20 something. In that moment though, I felt like that same
You was
kid
12
again.
again. You was 12 all over again.
Yeah, bro. In that
Makes sense.
split moment, I instantly remembered the amount of shit that happened that I could remember, because most of it was just blacked out. But yeah, it hit me, and that's when I realized this shit was in a box, and it finally came out in this moment, and I didn't even know how to respond to it. I didn't know how to handle it, and it really took my cousin to handle it. Like technically, even now, me sitting here at 30, I never really handled that situation. If anything, my cousin did it not once, but twice. Right. She kind of like was the bodyguard of it or whatnot.
Walked you through how to kind of defended you from actually having to deal with a direct
having to deal with it.
confrontation.
Exactly.
And that's probably why she did it. You know what I'm saying? The match energy, so to speak.
When you say handled it, what you mean, CJ? When you say your cousin handled it?
She the first time she whipped that lady's ass. And then the second time at the cookout, it was more so like she got in front when the lady tried to say hey to me, and my cousin I was already talking to her, and my cousin like basically stood up and just stood in front of her and was like, what? Like nobody really said nothing. It was like that silent eye contact, but you know what it meant.
And she was just kind of like, you know what's so messed up about it? Like, situations and many other situations, like that shit still don't make the person that it happened to feel any better. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
Whether they get their ass whooped or whether somebody do something to you and they go kill you for you, like the actual shit still there. You feel what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
makes sense.
It'd be crazy. And before you, like, even that was bad that would happen to you. But I bet I'm gonna say it like this: I bet a lot of us are young, sexually active young, because of our own parents. Like, for real, you catch your parents doing stuff. You feel what I'm saying? At a very young age, sometimes you think, then I bet you it's more cases than that. Then we know that people don't say.
Sure.
Whether it's even if it's a husband and wife, mother and father, still. You feel what I'm saying? Like
the wrong type of exposure without the education. I can see that. I can see that. Let's go to Uno and then Wardy. If you all got anything, if you ain't got nothing, that's fine. But I did want to give you all a chance to speak to a personal story and tell me how you navigated and healed from trauma as a black man.
Man, I think a lot of my trauma comes from just the neighborhood we grew up in.
Mm.
Um, we dealt with a lot of narcotics, jail, and just impoverished minds. A lot of times with me personally, I mean, I think going through the court system was something that brung a whole nother world into a world that I was living in as a teenager, and going through something like that at like 17 um, is definitely life changing
Yeah.
in a sense. Um, and, you don't really know the the magnitude of life or the freedom that we do have until your freedom is literally dangling in the hands of a person that is literally can send you off to prison and then go and fucking golf that same afternoon. It
That's real.
it really does something to you
Hmm.
that's like, um man, I can't even really describe it, man. It's like you just feel less than human, you feel like your entire life is just in dangles, like every decision that you make up in the time until your court date, or being in those environments where you are going into the jail or being in jail or getting processed to go into jail. That whole thing is a whole dehumanizing aspect, and as a kid, because when you're 17 to 18, you're a kid still. I don't care what nobody says. um it don't matter how tough you think you are. It doesn't matter how, what your name ring in the hood or what you've done in the hood. Once you go through those systems, and you just another number. You just another, excuse my language, but you just another nigga in there. You know what I'm saying?
Makes
And
sense. Real
you
shit.
know, going through that, and not saying I was that person, like I didn't deserve what was happening, because we all did things in the street, and we all have done things that could possibly land us in those situations. It is what it is. But being surrounded by that energy really opened up my eyes to like, yo, this ain't really me, bruh. Like, this is cool. I gotta do what I gotta do to make some bread. But all this extra stuff that's going on out here, this ain't really me. And what really made that wasn't me was when I got out of the situation.
Mm.
Not out of the situation like the court case, but when I got home that night and niggas was on the block waiting for me with bottles. Niggas pouring
Right.
up. Yeah, nigga, yeah, I was, yeah, you see old boy in there, yeah, yeah, yada, yada, yada. And it's just like, bro, I got school in the morning, bro.
Real shit. Real shit.
I'm out here with the OGs, and they passing me the bottles, and we out here thugging it, and it's cool because I mean it was cool last week because I won in that situation last week, bro. I
Right.
was just out here on the block with y'all making the bread. You feel me? Like we was counting up, we was doing what we had to do. But bro, my mama worked for the county, bro. I'm in there with her clients. You know what I'm saying? She
Mm.
know the judge, she know the lawyers, you feel me? So it was like one of those dehumanizing things where it was like I really didn't understand what I was getting myself into until it actually happened to me. Not even on no scared straight stuff, because I still kept doing what I was doing afterwards. But I just had to move, maneuver through, and pick my battles. That was a battle that I shouldn't even have participated in to get me in those positions anyways. So I think, going through that and getting out of that and doing what I'm doing now, I'm definitely blessed. But the way I navigated it was to literally find the inner work, man. That same day, bro. Like that same night, I faked it. I ain't even gonna lie, I faked it with everybody, bro. I didn't even want to ruin everybody. Like, everybody was celebrating. But deep down, I was just like, bro, I ain't never coming back out this motherfucker again. You know what I'm saying? That's how
Right.
it was. But
Makes sense.
I
That's
went
Same
real.
back
here.
and I went back and I
I never forget. I went back and I talked to my counselor, bro. That was my first time ever talking to my counselor. I got suspended. You know me, bro. We grew up in the same house. You know, my mom called
Yeah,
you. A lot of people
yeah.
don't know this, but if you're watching this right now, me and Jay Strada are blood relatives.
Right.
Uh,
That's my
so
brother.
every time I was suspended, I'm sure that mom called you. And being
Facts.
in the streets, I went to college to get away from mom sent me off to college, like to his college to get me away from the streets because we was out there. And CJ grew up with us
Thugging
too,
it.
so CJ
Yeah.
knows. So, but it's
Yeah.
like what I had to navigate through. Like I said, right after that, I went to my counselor and I told her what had happened, and that within itself was my first time actually talking to my counselor about anything. And
Mm.
the things that she showed me, and the things that she told me, she brought up numbers like this, but she showed me that all I had to do was go in there and talk to her. Because if I don't go in there and talk to her, I'm laughing, I'm goofing off in school. She think everything is fine.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So that's just how the school system was set up. Just to circle it back to the school system thing. When I went in there and told her all the things that I've been through, that's just what it was. And I just went into school and I got enrolled into some courses in college, and because I had good grades and stuff, and I went from there. But like I said, how I healed from it, man, I just did the inner work, and I found out what I like to do. I was always good at you know I went to school to be a veterinarian at first, so that's what I really took my time into, studying how to be a veterinarian and reading up on different animals, and being at the library looking up the things that I wanted to do. So I really just found out what I wanted to do, and I just focused on that. That was like my escape. And again, that circles back into the long journey, like everybody was saying, Bino and Lean was saying. It's a journey, because once you try to escape that, you're just running away from it.
Yep.
You're still gonna have to face it. So again, I
Represents
have
to
to face
something
those
else.
things, like I said, like you got to do the inner work. So I'm really big on inner work and really just going out and finding the things that you love to do and just doing them for you, like not
Makes sense.
nobody else. Even if you got a family, but just making sure that you're doing the things that you love for you, because that's what's gonna get you through, the things that we get through for sure.
For sure. Wardy, what you got? Personal
Well,
story, how you navigated and healed from it.
well, as a man, the personal story I'll share was, you know, basically having to get out of the army, getting blown up or whatever. And I mean, that took me a lot of time to have to heal from for real because I felt like, that was gonna be my career. I felt like I was gonna retire from the army. I felt, what I'm saying? So felt like I was stripped of something. So man, I did a lot of uh trying to stay in that moment. You know what I'm saying? A lot of things trying to stay in the war moment and things like that. So I mean, it was just a realization of what I was doing, which just wasn't conducive to my growth, really. You know what I'm saying? It was just that's how I changed it. Like it was, I realized that what I was doing wasn't getting me nowhere, and I had kids, so you know, it. I don't know. It was definitely traumatic, and it was something that that really took a toll on me as a man. So, but yeah, that's how I got over it. Just the realization and acceptance that I had a problem, that I was doing, that I was acting out because of I still wanted to be in that you know environment or whatever.
Makes sense. I'm gonna give a real quick story, then we're gonna move on. So this was about 2015, 2017. It was shortly after my diagnosis of sarcoidosis. Went through surgery that chopped off a piece of my lung. I had heart tubes coming out. It was a pretty grueling process. So get discharged, get released back, go home. Now, a part of my therapy was to walk my neighborhood. Now, at the time, I lived outside of Greensboro in a pretty nice community called Whitsett, right? And so Whitsett was a predominantly white neighborhood, townhomes, nice little cul-de-sac. So, but I've been there for a while. And so, one of the things I was instructed by the doctor was just to walk around neighborhoods. So I was like, cool, let me do this shit. I really didn't feel like doing it, but I was like, it's part of the process. Let's get to it. I'm walking through the neighborhood on the sidewalk. A sheriff rolls by. I nod at the sheriff and I keep walking, right? I ain't done shit wrong. I'm at my house. I'm literally not even 2 turns to my front door. So I walk a little further. Another cop car shows up. I keep walking. When you haven't done anything wrong and you feeling emboldened by the fact that you're righteous, you ignore things that don't concern you. So I'm walking a little further. The sheriff stops. Now at this point, there are 7 patrol cars piled in his cul-de-sac looking at me. The sheriff gets out. Hey, what are you doing here? Walking. Now, to give context, I was a smart ass back then. Because in my mind, I'm a little younger, and when I know I'm in righteousness, it's hard to get me off. Again, going back to that arrogant shit, you know what I'm saying? I was super arrogant. So I'm answering the questions as he asked them. What are you doing here? Walking. No, I mean, what are you doing here? Motherfucker, I live here. Who are you cursing at? You. Well, I need some ID. Actually, you don't. Am I charged with a crime? No, but we did have reports of someone matching your description walking around looking in the vehicles. So because I was walking somewhere that I lived, someone took it upon themselves to call the police. And 6, 7, 8 cars later, I'm surrounded in my own neighborhood. I think the traumatic part of that, what I learned from that, first off, was that righteousness and legalities are 2 different things when you're a black man. You can be right and still be charged. You can be right and still get arrested. You can be right and still die. That was a harsh reality. Now, granted, because of the diagnosis at the time, I kind of was at a fuck it point with most things in life. So I was a little more reckless than I would normally have been, right? I think the older self would have definitely handled it more politely. I probably would have just showed my ID and be like, hey, I live right up the street, just got a surgery, whoop, whoop. But at this point, in my mind, my diagnosis was death. So fuck y'all gonna do besides bring it closer? Because once you take me out, oh, my people marching. My family finna get paid. You can play stupid in this bitch if you want to. You feel me? Now, granted, that was suicidal. That could have really went left. All I had to do was clear it up, right? And I think that's one thing, how I heal from that trauma is learning just from all the cases. I don't have to go through it, fellas. We know what the fuck's going on out here. What I learned is that it's okay to comply in the moment of the law. You don't get justice in the moment. You cooperate and then you double back for your justice. That's how it's supposed to work. So to all my young men listening, I get it. It's easy to get riled up by this dumb shit. Well, not even dumb shit. It's easy to get riled up by the wrong things at the wrong time. We all want justice. We all want to be seen as equal, but it don't always go that way. So be prepared to comply to get out alive. But you can't do any fighting, and there's no judge, there's no jury on the side of that street when you get pulled over. You have to make it to actually fight for justice. So what I learned from that is, again, righteousness doesn't always equal legal.
Indeed.
Can I say something?
Absolutely.
Just going on, like, I don't know what it be though, like, just because, like, just listen to Uno and you, like, I heard what you just said, like, you was like, fuck it, because of your diagnosis, right? Mm-hmm. And like, I'm just listening to all y'all, like, and sometimes I be thinking, like, at one time I had to be, sometimes you almost forget, when I was younger, young teenage, like he said, 17, 18, like when we was saying all the way up, I had to be an angry somebody, you know what I'm saying? Because, like, I ain't stopped. Like, from game banging, taking penitentiary, I'm telling you, it's different than game banging, how they do today. Like, everybody know each other, they chilling, ain't nothing going on. Where I was at, I was in a different atmosphere. I wasn't in Bertie County. Feel what I'm saying? I was in a different environment where game banging was really game banging. So I'm saying, so I done been shot, stabbed, penitentiary chances every day. We woke up every day taking penitentiary chances, big numbers. No, none of that play shit that be going on these days. You feel what I'm saying? And like for me, that didn't stop me. So it was like it had some real. We be like us black boys, bro. We don't know how to like. That's what that crying shit I was talking about some segs ago. Like cry, my boy. You know what I'm saying? Because like we taught to be so strong and tough. It builds anger if we not in the right situations coming from where we come from. I come from two bad environments: Atlantic City, New Jersey, and Bertie County. Both of them small, fucked up places. You feel what I'm saying? So yeah, I just wanted to say that like to boys, man. Like yo, like.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like we got a lot of angers in this, and for a lot of different reasons. You know what I'm saying?
And a lot of times, I talked to, I met this young African girl in school when I went off to college, and she became somebody that was real close to me. And I remember I never forget one day I was just mad, bro. I was just fucking because I had came from a neighborhood and I was doing the right thing, in college, and I just felt like it was just like unnecessary, like for me to be struggling in college, and I struggle in the hood. They told me to come here to college, and I'm not fitting in because I'm too hood for the college kids, and but also it's like I'm trying to do the right thing, and I never forget. She sat me down, man, and she looked at me, bro, and she said, "Man, I don't know if anybody ever told you this, but it's okay to be angry."
Mm.
Don't shun away from it, but it's what you do with that energy.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
When
Yep.
you that young and you look around and it's nothing to do with your anger, but take it out on the next nigga that's flashy or got something you don't got, or the girl that you with because she might have did something that you ain't like or looked at somebody a certain type of way. It's still easy to take out a frustration because bro, I ain't had a meal all day, bro.
Mm-hmm. I feel you, bro.
Only meal we had was over the pot on some stuff. You know what I'm saying? We had to. Now I'm outside. I ain't even ate today, bro. But that's the norm because you're looking around your people on the block. And guess what? They ain't ate neither because they've been with you all day.
That part.
And that's just one thing. And that's something that like you said, man. You just angry. But little do we know, we don't have enough outlets to deal with that stress. We don't have the sports no more. We don't have the arts no more. We don't have these things that are supposed to be outlets. Because guess what? If you're not mad about something wrong with you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they don't tell young black boys. They tell you, don't be mad. Why you so angry all the time? This nigga angry because look around, bro. He don't even know it because he can't even put it in the words, but he angry because guess what? He just seen his mom come home from a 12-hour shift and she ain't got time to say, "Oh, I'm proud of this drawing that you did. I'm
Boy,
proud of you for just going to
boy,
school."
Bars, bro.
Dad in
that's
prison.
that one hit.
You know what I'm
Bars,
saying?
bro.
Dad in prison. He can't get on the
Mm-hmm.
phone. He mad because guess what? He got 13 minutes to talk to him. Dad, guess what I just did today? Dad, what is what I did today? Now he coming to
Mm.
school, and guess what? They done shut down the art program. They done shut down all this and that. You know what I'm saying? Now you get in the hood, and now nigga talking to you crazy. You like, what you talking to me?
Mm-hmm.
Now that's and then that's where all the bullshit happens. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's where the anger gets misplaced. Because guess what? When it comes to other coaches, guess what? They teach them to be angry. They teach them how to conquer. They teach them how to do this and that. But they have the voice to feel. They have the resources to deal with the anger. They have the people to talk to. So that's something that we as black men we need to make sure that the black boys know that you have places that you can go to deal with that, and it's okay to be angry, man. And I think a lot of times nobody ever taught us that. Nobody
Facts.
told us to be. It's okay, because if you're not angry, like I said, something wrong with you, man. Because look around, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Shit fucked up.
That
Facts.
part.
I like to add on that I feel like you know the black man has kind of mastered anger though as you know the go-to emotion, as but I also feel like anger is a sub level or surface level emotion. You know what I'm saying? And if you dig up under that, it's always something that's you know
Deeper.
more
Mm-hmm.
of a root cause. Like
Mm-hmm.
I would say like being vulnerable, fear, guilt, or
Mm-hmm.
shame. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Mm-hmm.
like we just don't know how to express that as that. So
Mm-hmm.
we
We're
always
not
go to
allowed to,
you
but we
know
think we're not
like
allowed to. Our society don't
yeah.
allow us to. You
Yeah,
right.
but we really not though,
You right.
because expressing your, like, if we look at masculinity is really, and our culture is everything opposite of feminine. So if we get to talking about our feelings and all this and that, we gonna
It's
be
viewed
looked
as
at
weak.
as feminine, whatever.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So we steer away
Mm-hmm.
from that and turn to anger, because in our culture as well, it's looked at as power. Once you angry and you mad and you know what I'm saying, whoop, whoop, whoop,
Mm-hmm.
okay, that's a power. He, you know what I'm saying? Don't mess with him. So we take equate that to, oh, I'm powerful.
Masculinity.
Let me stay in
Yeah.
my madness. Let me stay in. Okay, this what masculinity is, being an angry black man. All right, boom, I'm gonna live it. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's really, like we said, hurt. It's some type of hurt. It's some type of, other underlying factor that's making us like that, that we haven't learned how to, you know, cope with.
And it's a
I got
crash course. It's definitely a crash course. But it's a crash course. It always ends as a crash course if you don't correct it quick enough, or if you
Yeah.
don't have the grace, you know.
yeah. I think that what comes to mind listening to the Woody talk, those are all excellent, poignant points. I think what comes to mind is think about how many times as a boy you was told act like a man, fight like a man. But the part that the catch 22 of that is what man?
Mm.
The idea that you equate anger to masculinity is because there was no man there to tell you that that's not being masculine, boy.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually being childish.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole time we were portraying and projecting onto other young boys what we thought it was to be a man, because there were no men. Not in your school, not at your crib, not to visit it, not that was consistent enough to give you the jewels of what it was to be a masculine man. We never saw it, so we made it the fuck up.
And Strada, even
You
if
know,
they had the man in their house, their man still was saying it. The father still was saying it because that's the culture that we, like y'all, everybody is saying right now. Like, so even if they did have that dad was putting that on them.
Reinforcing dumb shit.
Yeah,
I give you that.
reinforcing dumb
Right.
shit. You feel what I'm
And
I
saying?
then
remember.
and then look how. Oh, go ahead, bro.
Oh, no, I was just gonna tell. I was just gonna tell a little story, man. But you go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was about to remind bro about the time where our uncle, man. I don't know if you ever remember this, bro, but when we got an older brother, he was wilding out. Before he became calm, before he got old and had a family. My oldest brother was, man. He was hell on wheels. When I was a kid, I just remember him being hell on wheels, and I'll never forget. My mom, we was somewhere, man. I just remember she pulled up to my aunt house and my uncle was there, and my older brother was wilding. I remember my uncle rolled up on my brother, and I just never forget it because I was thinking to myself like, man, my uncle is like he's the epitome of hell on wheels.
Yeah.
And I really thought my brother was gonna like fight my uncle, man. And I was just like, yo, this shit. But my uncle, that was the only time I ever seen my uncle hold back. And he told my brother, being like this don't make you no fucking man, bro. What you think you a man because you arguing with my sister? He was like,
I
if you
remember
was
that,
somebody
man.
on the street, you wouldn't even be having this conversation with me. He was like, I love you. And I'll never forget seeing them do that. And I don't know if they hugged it out. I might be making that up, but I just remember him saying how much he loved my brother and how he was just like, bro, you can't keep doing this no matter how mad you get, no matter what's going on right now, bro. Like, and my uncle at the time, man, he was in and out of the streets. He wasn't a person that, we looked to him as for guidance, but I think that was one of the first times I ever looked at my uncle and was like, I know he could have just really fucked my brother up that day.
Yeah.
Because again, that's my uncle, and my brother was wilding out on my mom that day, and I just remember him really telling him how much he loved him, bro. That was the one thing he just kept saying over and over again. He was like, "Bro, I just love you," and my bro was just wilding, and he calmed down after a while. But just seeing that in real time, having an older black man telling a younger black man that's angry how much he loved him, how much he understood where he was coming from, really de-escalated the situation. And they
Yeah.
really sat down and talked after that. I think we left him. I think we
Yeah.
drove off and he dropped them off later. I don't know what they talked about, but I just remember seeing that as like maybe like 8 or 9, just seeing stuff like that. And that's something that really resonated with me. So,
And you know what? The thing that upsets me, like even if we get through stuff like that and we end up being all right, we still stagnate ourselves from our purpose of being like world leaders and leaders that we really could have been. We waste that. We can't get that back now. You know what
right.
I'm saying? Should be
Yep.
crazy. So it's always a disappointment somewhere in there for me. You feel what I'm saying? Like I'm good
Mm-hmm.
now, But man, what if I would have did this? I could have been you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
World leader somewhere, bro. Really helping change the world at a mass. You know, so.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that. I know most of the dudes that we grew up with back home in Orlando. Most of us didn't have our dad literally in the house with us. Like most of us, the male figure was the dope man, was the big OG, triple OG on the street that his life was already ruined, but he got all the stories to tell you about what to do, what not to do, because he done them 30 times before he finally got his life together, which it still wasn't together, but. Like, let's be real. We had a lot of OGs that they swerving down, like, don't do this, don't do this, da, 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 da. And we'd be like, all right, OG, but then like, damn nigga, you did like 5-6 times. Like why you ain't got right yet? You know, I'm still learning, young buck. Like, come on now. But even though my dad didn't live with me, I stayed in my dad maintained a strong communication with me on the regular. I talked to him like at least every week. He'll pull up every now and then. He was like stationed in Fayetteville at one point, so he'll pull up in Bertie every now and then, just like randomly, just to say hi to me, talk to me, give a little bit of speech. But when he wasn't there, the father figures was the dope man. The father figures was that one homie that actually his father was actually there. And in my case, I know y'all might remember like Tron, Terrell, Tonio, my cousins. You know, they had Cola. You don't mess with Cola. Anybody that actually knew Cola was a father figure. He might have been seemed like an asshole, but Cola hush you slam out and then sit you down and explain to you why. He'll tell you you fucked up, but this is what you should have done. He used to be on Tonio's head on the regular, because like how y'all talking about y'all brother was wild. Tonio was wild on the regular. I don't know how many times Tonio get into a fight and we gotta go help him with the fight, and then before you know we fighting people. Like a lot of fights that Tonio got into, I had to get into to help him out, because at the end of the day, man, even if he was in the wrong, that's family. You gonna help family, cuss him out later, but you gonna help our family. But I said it to say that even when you got father figures in the house, you still make dumb decisions. Tonio was the youngest of three brothers. Tron and Terrell. Terrell's like the peacekeeper out of the three. Like he don't do nothing wrong. That man is an angel out of the three. Tron, he's chill. He's like another Jay. But Tonio, that was the hothead. And Cola was his actual father, and he still was the hothead. So sometimes you can have that father figure right there, banging into your head what to do, what not to do, and yet everybody else understand it because the neighborhood understood it. But the one person that was supposed to understand it, his actual son, he didn't get it till he was older. Like Tonio now, he calm, he chill. But Tonio had to go behind them bars. Tonio had to take that time and sit down for a minute before he finally got his head right. Now he cool. But look how long it took for him to finally get his head together. You feel
That's
me?
from the
He was with
outside,
his
but like
dad.
we just said, anger, fear.
Yeah. For hey,
you know what I'm saying?
real.
You know.
Dig beneath the
So
layers.
it's just because the father dead don't always mean it's gonna help you, you know?
Makes sense. Makes sense.
You know,
Y'all
and then I want.
Go ahead.
You go ahead.
Let me welcome Kel to the panel. What's up, Kel? What's good, brother?
What's going on, fellas?
Chilling, man. Having this conversation, man. We escaping
I know,
trauma and breaking stereotypes. What you got
know
for
it's
us so
I know
far?
it's getting hot in here, man. I just want to say I love all y'all. Like y'all, my brothers, bro.
Love, bro. You already know.
One black man to another.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be scared to tell somebody you love them.
That's a
Especially
fact,
from
man.
a man to another man. You know,
That's a
don't
fact.
be kind of scared to tell another man you love him. It ain't gay.
That's a fact.
It ain't gay, bro.
Even if I gotta say I love you, pause. You know what I'm saying? So, but
It's a pause is necessary.
That's why I don't say I love you. I just say the word love. Just say love.
Yeah, I'd be
That's
like,
how I hit
love.
them.
Love,
My dad
bro.
said, "Don't say I love you unless it's a woman. Just say love. They know what it means. They know
Right.
what it
Come
means.
on
They
now.
get it.
Just say love."
Yeah,
So
what's
I
going on?
wanted to
What's the
like.
topic?
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, bro.
I just wanted to raise a question, right? Because a lot of times what happens is that we CJ brought up a good question, a good point for me. Just thinking back, Bino been talking about it. Woody, he talked about it a little bit, but I want to raise this question. And it wasn't a question that's like that we thought about. It was a question that hit me because I'm in the music realm and I'm in the film realm, and something that we talked about is like our OGs, right? And people we look up to, and what being a man is. And one thing that I feel like we lost connection with and we gave up on is what we feed entertainment wise to black boys, right? Because somehow along the line with us, and I don't know if it was because, and this is some real shit I'm about to say. I don't know if because I come from the era where it's like I got introduced to technology. I didn't grow up with technology. I got introduced to it. So I know the power of physicality, but I also know the power of digital. So I'm well balanced when it comes to both, right?
Right.
And I don't know if it was my era that made the whole notion where it's like rappers and entertainers, it don't matter what they're doing, it's just music. But somewhere along the line, people were just like, it's just music, it's just movies. This shit don't matter what we're watching. And now that we're older, we're like, this shit does matter what the fuck we watching. Because now I see my nephew doing the shit. Now I see my niece doing it. Now I see my little cousin doing it. Because
Right.
guess what? Look at what he watching. And I don't know if it was my error because we were just lying to our parents, like, oh yeah, don't worry about it. They, our parents didn't know what YouTube was and all that shit that was coming out. They still don't even know what most of this stuff is coming out. The same way that the kids are tricking their parents now with the Roblox and all this stuff that's going on. It's like it's the same thing. It's just done differently. And I want to ask the question, as far as rappers go, do you feel like they play a part into what is supposed to be a man in our society?
Before anyone answers it, you actually bring us segue to one of my videos. I'm going to play it out of order just because of your question. And this will give you context for how long this has been going on with media giving a portrayal to what black men are. But we're going to come back, get y'all thoughts on it, and get you to answer Jonathan's question. Cool? So for those that know on the panel, make sure that we unpause or make sure you unmute the screen to hear the video. Let's see what we got, fellas.
I just told you a little while ago, these leaders that they call leaders, this included Lena Horne, this included Dick Gregory, and this included comedians, comics, trumpet players, baseball players. Show me in the white community where a comedian is a white leader. Show me in the white community where a singer is a white leader, or a dancer or a trumpet player is a white leader. These aren't leaders. These are puppets and clowns that have been set up over the white community and over the black community by the white community and have been made celebrities and usually say exactly what they know that the white man wants to hear.
I think that from the words of Malcolm X, little brother.
Yeah, I remember watching
for a while.
Yeah, I remember watching the interview, man, and going back and watching Malcolm X. I see why nobody talks about Malcolm X, because Malcolm X stepped on a lot of people's toes that we look at as because people look at Dick Gregory as a person like, yo, Dick Gregory was that person you look. You know what I'm saying? So when you have somebody like Malcolm X, like, bro, you shouldn't even be in a position talking about what you're talking about. You need to sit back and just support what I'm doing because we really out here doing it, and you just hiding behind the art. It really raises the question of where do you stand and where do we stand as a community with artists? Because as an artist myself, it's not like I'm out here on no cheesy stuff for the kids. I'm not making no music for the kids. And if the kids stumble across the music, then oh well. But I'm not out here on no BS either. And it's something that I always battle with my art because it's just like I'm just telling my life.
Yeah.
It's just my life at this point. And it's not even like, my actions. Like if you see me out in nature, I'll be on the nature, I'm always at a waterfall. If you see me at the nature or something, you see me doing some juice, some juicing, I'm living, I'm living healthy, and you take from that, that's cool. But I'm more of the action person. But what I realized was that it came a time where we not as hard as on the media as back then. We're not hard on them no more, man. We not, and the sucky part about it is like, and I'm gonna say this. No, I ain't gonna say that shit. I'm gonna just wait. I'm not gonna say
Talk
that.
your shit, bro. We in the raw box. Welcome to the raw box.
You got it.
Talk your shit, bro.
Nah, because I don't want to bring that shit. I'm gonna bring that shit up on Wednesday. But one thing that I realize about us as black men, and I'm not saying this shit because I'm not that type of person. I'm usually on another side. But what I noticed is we more quick to talk about the woman artists because it's safe for us to do that than we are talking about the niggas that be on that bullshit, man.
Perpetuating the
Because
dumb shit. You're right.
perpetuating the dumb shit. We more quicker to be like, damn, I don't want to see no ass shaking. That's all y'all talk about than a nigga that's really on this damn track talking about somebody that just really got murdered in broad daylight and like fuck that nigga grave and fuck his kids and all this crazy shit. You
Perk
know what I'm
10,
saying?
perk 30.
And it's like,
Facts.
when do we step in and be like, bro, this not even you, bro. You just a
Mm.
mascot.
That part.
Because the people at the end of the day, bro, I'm not even in the hood no more. So the things I'm talking about is just old ghost stories. You know what I'm saying? At this point, I'm not portraying the hood or anything, but at some point, niggas just be mascots. They get the face tats and the guns, and it's like, bro, you're not even doing that. I
Yeah.
know rappers, bro, and bro, I'm telling you right now, them guys is drinking tea with white folks every day. They are getting told what to do every day. They are not as hood as the niggas. I'm telling you, they talk proper. I met them. They talk proper. They about their business. They got 3 phones. They can tell you about crypto. You can have conversations about 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 real deep shit. But then they get into the studio and this nigga, I'm popping lean and I'm doing all this. And niggas don't even do it. Niggas be sober. It's like a caricature.
Yeah,
That's real. That's
you got
real.
those artists. You do
Real.
you definitely got those artists, and it's more than people think too. It's way more what Uno talking about, way more of them artists than people think. But like for me coming up, right? Like there's no filter no more. We really can't blame each other for that. Like technology is a good and a bad. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like advanced. So man, it used to be like you had to be like sneak to hear certain lyrics. You know what I'm saying? You had to like be up late at night to catch certain shit. Now
Mm-hmm.
the internet just made that
BET
shit.
after
Like I was
dark.
telling Strata the other day, we all in one class now.
Yep.
Everybody is in one class. Like everybody.
Yep.
From kindergarten to your masters, about to have your masters in college. We all
We're
in one
all on the
class.
same
Oh
fucking
Bro,
yeah.
you
platform
said, bro, that's a bar
together.
right there, bro.
Yeah.
That's
You know
a
what I'm saying?
bar,
So
man.
that's a big reason. Because even if that artist was faking, it was a lot of them was faking back then too. You know what I'm saying? It's more elevated because, like you said, back in the day, if you see somebody that had tats on their face, that's because they've been to prison. Like niggas is literally going to tattoo shops to look like a
Doing
felon.
it.
It's
Yeah.
crazy to me. Those the ones 9 times out of 10 I do not believe that you're doing anything, bro. Like you can't be really out here doing nothing like that unless you already been to prison. You got it done in prison, then you back out. But if you ain't never been to prison, you already tats on your face. Like I don't believe in you, bro. We need more people.
And
You know what I'm saying? Because you wouldn't do that if you was really out here doing stuff.
Cliff note to the wise. I was once told a long time ago when I was thugging in the streets that you wanted to keep your tattoos hidden by your shirts and your sleeves, because if you were ever doing something you weren't supposed to be doing, those are
Mm-hmm.
called identifying markers.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
if you up something or if you using something illegally, I can see what's on your wrist. I might not know you, but I know he has a tattoo here. When you're trying to get away from something, you got something on your back, something on your face. So again, a lot of y'all are actually thugging incorrectly if that's what it is you choose to be. I'm not condoning none of that dumb
Right.
shit, but don't make it easier. Y'all
And
motherfuckers are
it's
the easiest criminals in the world to catch because y'all just stupid. And we just gonna call
Stupid.
it what the fuck it is, bro. Y'all just
and
fucking stupid, bro.
so it's like
Yeah.
Fuck it,
so
stay stupid so you can learn quicker.
For
hey,
real.
that ass. But
Yep.
it's like, how do you hold an artist accountable without being a hater? Because in our community, if you don't like something and you speak up against something that's popular or that is the new norm, then
Right.
you're a hater.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you what
Don't
it is,
support
brother.
it, man. It's like it's you want to. I hate to say don't support it, but that's what it's gonna take. You hit them
Right.
pockets, people gonna change.
But I'm
You know
I'm
what
gonna
I'm
Yeah.
keep
saying?
it.
As a
I'm gonna keep it
community, we need
tall.
to come together and say we don't accept that. That's not what we accepting it from. You know what I'm
But
saying?
it's
Like we don't want to
I'm
hear
so
gonna play
that.
it
devil's
gotta
advocate.
start
Might
within
be my
your
bad.
own circle, and then expand from there. Because you got to hit the community first before you can go hit
True.
these artists. Because
Right,
we the
right.
ones listening to it. You know what I'm saying? But and another note, I mean, I've also seen where they say, white people are actually listening to it more than we are.
Yep.
Oh
For
yeah. Check
sure.
the
You know what I'm saying?
concerts.
So
Check the
so it's
concerts.
yeah,
But
so it's not just our community,
and I
you
and I
know.
wanna talk about that, right? So
Good party.
and sometimes, not to like back that or like to say that I'm against that
Hmm.
narrative. but the white people not going out there and doing what
They're using
what
it for
rap is doing.
entertainment.
Right.
They're
That's what I
using
was
it
about
for.
to say.
But
Now,
that's
So it's like,
historical though, Uno.
now
That's
watch this.
historical. We always have been entertainers to European
But
mhm.
now let me
from
let me
way
drop
back
this.
from
Well,
tribal dancing things.
let me drop this context in. Rap, believe it or not, y'all, the reason what this is where we got off track. So I'm gonna take y'all back. Let's do a history lesson because I love music. I'm an artist, so is my brother. Grandmaster, I think it was Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. They had the song. Um, it's like a jungle. Sometimes it makes me wonder why I keep from going under. And I'm gonna read y'all just the first verse. And this was Melly Mel. And this is what I mean by a lot of what you see back then. Rap started as a cry to the American people that we out here in poverty. That's what it started as. You
Storytelling.
feel me? So the verse goes: broken glass everywhere, people pissing on the stairs. You know they just don't care. I can't take the smell, can't take the noise. Got no money to move out. I guess I got no choice. Rats in the front room, roaches in the back, junkies in the alley with a baseball cap. I tried to get away, but I couldn't get far because a man with a tow truck repossessed my car.
Yep. Storytelling.
That's
That
real.
was what it was back then.
But you know what they used to call
Grandmaster
that?
Flash and the Furious Five.
You
Don't
know what they used to call
push
that?
us.
Reality rap. That
Yeah.
was reality rap.
And I'll go so far as to say that it's evolved to what I mean. We don't like what it's evolved to, but what's drilling if it ain't something from someone's neighborhood that is actually doing this shit? I think that the difference is that even back then they were living it. They found a way to generalize it enough to make the message more potent than the arrogance to put themselves in it. Meaning I can talk about gun violence and what I went through and put a spin on it to show you a harsh reality without actually going out there doing it and then running in the booth to go tell you about it. Hey, that's what the fuck I just did. Like back then it was more like, yo, this shit is fucked up.
Or even
Now it's
boasting about
like,
it.
yeah.
They-
Now
they
it's a
boast-
brag.
It's a brag now.
Right.
But I want to say something about that Malcolm X video, but before we move on, like,
Absolutely.
I wanna go back to, like, when he said what he said in the black community, comedians and artists and all this stuff is our leaders. That's because white people pay them, bro. Like white people been paying us to entertain them before slavery, bro. Like they paid us in crop, they paid us in whatever they had, like just for to see us dance or tell them a fucking joke or something. Like this way before slavery time. This is historical, bro. Like since the beginning of the African man meeting up with the European man, bro. Like you know what I'm saying? Like so, and they get the. In America, we know who run what. The Europeans run America, right? They pay the. It seems like they are leaders because they get the image, they get the voice. They might not pay one of us to talk this shit we talking up here right now. You know what I'm saying? It's not entertaining enough. Their infatuation with our struggle from when we talk about Grandmaster Flash all the way up to the day. They're infatuated with how we used to dance back in the day and back in the tribal days. You know what I'm saying? They always been infatuated with us and they always paid us to entertain them and we entertain them. Because I get, like Kel said, more white people listen, but like Uno said, it's for entertainment for them though. It's for entertainment for them. For us, this is in us, bro. Like we are people, our melanin is made of creativity. So we're naturally prone to music. Our ears, it hits us different, bro. You know what I'm saying? It gets in our spirit different, bro. Like dancing, that's us, bro. That's us. You got to understand who you is as a black man first and foremost, history wise. You know what I'm saying? To move forward, bro.
I like it.
Hey, I just want to give you a little pushback though. Before slavery, we was teaching them. You know what I'm saying? Every facet of, you know what I'm saying? Every facet. Like we was teaching them how to bath, how to bathe, how to, you know, be civilized, how to read, how to write.
Entertainment wise, bro. Like I'm just talking about like strictly
it
them
wasn't
being
no
entertained by us,
bro. Before slavery, we was not entertaining them at all. We was teaching them how to be humans. So, you know, that entertainment part came later on when, you know, they started subjecting us to the treatment of less than humans. Then they looked at us as, you know, cattle and stuff like that. So yeah, we became entertainment to them. We became nothing more. We wasn't even humans to them. So yeah, we were subjected to that type of treatment. But before that, no, bro, they came to Egypt to learn. All your Plato's and Aristotle's and whoever you can think of from back that time went to Egypt and learned all of that. Pythagoras, all of them. You know what I'm saying?
I don't push back on that at all. You're absolutely correct. But like even back then in Africa, when they did their spiritual things and they dance, it was amazement to them. Maybe I changed my words. They was amazed by that.
Yeah,
they might have learned something from it, but it wasn't them. They didn't do stuff like that.
Oh, I
So
see what
it
you're
turned
saying.
into them, entertaining them.
Yeah.
They made to see them people dance like that. You know what I'm saying? And the noises they made. So that's, you know what I'm saying. It was always infatuated by us. So yeah, because the goal,
They,
because I'm agreeing with you saying it transitioned later to
yeah.
slavery to being
Right. Right.
entertained. But
Right. It
it was
definitely. Yeah.
always infatuated by our
Yeah.
creativity, whether it's dancing, songs, rituals, you know what I'm saying, things of that such. So that's all I'm
For
saying.
sure. We're gonna get to the next
Shit.
video. Speaking of our young rappers, I'm sorry. Water, did you want to follow up on
Oh
that?
no. I was just saying, yeah, bro was right. Bro, right.
Absolutely. Let's get to the next video. We got one of our younger artists that had a very candid moment, and I want to get y'all thoughts on the moment.
What you looking for?
Huh?
What you looking for?
Myself.
Huh?
I really been trying to find myself.
What's up?
Cried what I feel right now. Forget what? Man, and I'll hold this shit down, and that's the only way it's gonna go.
Y'all get it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Me personally, how I feel about the video as a whole, I feel like what's his name, Young Boy.
Young boy.
I feel like he came in with a image where he had to be tough, but I feel like that's not who he is off camera all the time. I don't
Mm-hmm.
feel like because and it's not it's to the point where his tough demeanor, his tough persona has become a meme. It's become a TikTok trend at one point of acting like Young Boy, just walking around here looking angry and upset all the time. I feel like yes, he probably is an angry dude for whatever reason it might be, but I think that at a certain point, it's just a persona that he's trying to he's covering up. That's not really who he is. That's not really how he really acts. That's not really how he carries himself outside the camera. Because for a slight second, the man's smiling. I don't know him like that. I don't necessarily like go out my way to listen to his music. If it plays, it plays. But what I do know is I ain't never seen that man smile before. And to see that little clip for like a split second, he smiled only for him to just
You know
change
what's
the whole
crazy?
image.
And I'm gonna give you the context. He was smiling before he walked in the car, and then I think the guy asked him, "What are you looking for?"
Mm.
And then he stopped smiling. So first he was probably like, "I'm gonna holler at y'all. What are you looking for? Why you ask me that? I'm looking for myself." And it's almost like it made him, that question sparked something in him that made him go into introspection. Like, damn, what made you ask me that? Then he answered it like subconsciously, like, I'm looking for myself, bro. But I'm a man. I want to cry. But I'm a man. I'm gonna hold that shit down. You feel me? Like,
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, I saw that as a cry for help almost. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like he didn't say much, but he said enough.
Yeah.
You know, and if you're
Right.
really listening, you can almost feel that energy. Like it's a sadness there. He's lost. You know, that guidance. He don't have that guidance that he need right now. So he's searching, and I hope he find it. Hope somebody's there to help him find it. But at least he knows. To me, he kind of recognized, I know I'm lost. I'm looking for myself. I don't know who I am right now or who I want to be. But I know this right here ain't it.
Right.
that's real. That's
I
a
don't get
bar.
that vibe from Young Boy, man. I think he's a genius, bro. I think he's a genius, and I think he's using the way he is to capitalize and get rich, bro. That nigga's a genius, bro. He ain't crazy, bro. Like I've been seeing that video, and I seen him, I was like, yo, this dude is too good, bro. He too good. Like, cause he was smiling before that question, but that question didn't spark him to do it. I'm looking for myself. I see him flip flop too much. You know what I'm saying? I see him play with his fans too much. He plays with their mind. They not playing with his, bro.
Can I be honest with you? I think
That's how I feel about it. I don't like him.
Yeah, you good. I think that flip flop actually comes from his internal battle. I think he is literally battling with what he is caught, what he is frozen into having to betray versus what he wants to be.
Exactly. That persona.
And I think, that persona is catching up to him because now it's harder to keep it up when you start growing as a man. You feel me? So I don't deny that at some point he was on that dumb shit. Maybe not. I'm not here to talk about Young Boy's credibility in the streets. I ain't done no crimes with him. I ain't seen, you know what I'm saying? So I can't speak on that. But I will say is like you said, whether real or staged, it broke him. It looked like it broke him of character for like 2 seconds. It was oh shit, made you ask me that, bro. And like you said, he does it a lot. I'll give you that. He'll toe the line between being serious sometimes and getting on some petty shit. Then he'll go back to being a gangster, and then he'll need love. But I think that goes to the duality of most black men, bro. Like it's hard to find how you want to show up in the world to be received, right? And we struggle with it. You know what I'm saying? Be it masculinity that doesn't show up correctly, a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I think we just saw his duality.
Yeah, and I think to add to that, I've followed NBA YoungBoy from like the start, man. When he was like a kid, I've always been somewhat always listen to his music, and that's here and there. I wouldn't even say it's a guilty pleasure because the things that he raps about and the things that go on in his life, not so personally my life. I relate to certain things, but I have a lot of close friends. I mean, I'm sure CJ can attest that we grew up with a lot of those NBA young boys, man.
Yeah,
Before it was cool,
yeah,
and knowing people that's like that, I always had a gift of being able to be home anywhere, and I also had a gift of having my home be a home to anybody. And in my house, I always had different people of walks of life, going into certain things. And give me 1 second. Give me 1 second, y'all. Yeah, I'm gonna come back.
All right, yeah, you good, brother. We gonna
Hey,
get to
hey,
some
see,
of
you
the.
feel like he broke character, right, Strata? And I feel like he went into character. That's what
Oh,
I'm saying.
Okay.
Y'all ever seen that interview where he said the stuff he put out, he was trembling and shaking and all this other shit? Y'all seen that interview?
yep.
His voice was cracking and all that. That was him.
when he was wearing like black and white or something like that.
I can't remember what he's wearing, but he was saying like how he know the stuff that he putting out is for evil and it's for bad, and he know how he's
Yeah,
influenced. Y'all seen
yeah,
that when his voice was
yeah,
cracking, he was shaking?
yeah.
That was him, bro. All the other shit he do, he go into character like a lot of these young niggas, man. I
But
don't give a
see,
fuck.
that's why
I'm one of them
they
old
say it's
heads
a
now.
persona.
That's
It's
like,
a
man, fuck
persona.
out of here, man.
It's
Y'all,
not really
y'all,
who
y'all
he
play
is.
too much now, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I can
that's just
agree
my
with that.
opinion,
Yeah,
though. It's just my
yeah,
opinion.
yeah. I was listening to what you're saying. So, like I was saying, like, man, it's those like Bino was saying, man. It's like a persona, but it's hard to say the persona because it's like it's really them, and it's like it is a persona because again, man, like I said, I have the gift to open up doors to people that are from all types of different, walks of life, and I've had people in my living room that were considered murderers or
Mm.
rapists and gang bangers and people, and these are people that I'm sitting down, we splitting hot pockets because we in the same place and we playing the game, we talking about what's going on in the day, but I've had people that were considered bad people tell me straight up, bro, I don't want this for my life, bro. Coming to your house, bro, is what I look forward to. I've had people literally tell me that, like, bro, outside, bro, I gotta give it to these. Like they expect me to do that, but in here, bro, I don't have to do that with you. You the homie, bro. I feel no ill malice towards you, and I think a lot of times, us as men, specifically black men, we put on certain faces in certain environments. Because at the end
I
of the
Oh
day,
yeah.
I'm not putting on a face, but at the end of the day, when I'm in a neighborhood, bro, that I know it gets like that, I'm not gonna be pulling up, smiling and laughing and joking. We can talk all day about all this and that, but I'm not also mean mugging people and cheating into it. I just move a certain type of way that I just know
Yeah.
that's just the language. But I
You
also
don't
still
make you
spread the
don't make
love for
yourself a
people.
target.
You
yeah.
know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
being
So it's like
aware.
Yeah.
I feel like with NBA YoungBoy, and that's why I resonate with him. That's probably why Bino resonate with him too, because it's just like I feel like as black men, bro, like if you come from that area and I feel like we all NBA YoungBoy at some point. We all
Absolutely.
had to
Struggle with
Absolutely.
that
tell them this
duality.
shit.
We all had to walk
Absolutely.
into a
And that
motherfucking
Whether
and,
it's
and
state
you
whether it's
with.
absolutely
act or
right. And
not.
that's why I look at him the way I look at him. Like, man, I've been, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, we don't know what he really did, but the attitude and the energy that he puts out through his music,
We can
I
relate.
actually lived that young boy life.
Right.
And
Exactly.
no,
And it's just
and
like,
what you just said, oh no, I'm not gonna even keep talking because like you said it. Like you gotta be what you gotta be. You feel like you gotta be what you gotta be. Because
Right.
as I got
exactly.
older, I learned I changed the whole idea and can still be in those environments, still be around those killers,
Mm-hmm.
still be around those dudes, and I get the same respect and the same love I did when I was out here wilding out with them. So,
Facts. We're gonna go to the comments real quick. Nikki, shout out to Nick Nass. He said he won't raise right. He raised himself, so he think his way is it. I'm guilty, honestly. I can agree with that, Nick.
That's interesting.
But also, like, I want to say, ego plays a big part in a black man's plight and
Mm-hmm.
a black man's demise. And as far
facts.
as if you want to go to NBA Youngboy, but just talk about us because I don't want to talk too much about a certain person.
Right, right.
Because I also like support. I actually some of the things I don't support, but I actually support in NBA Youngboy. So, you know, you don't know how many people are hearing this and
Right,
whoever's
right.
listening, whatever. But I want to talk about ego and how we can tie that into what we're doing because it's just like all of that is feeding the ego. All of that is a fuel to the ego. Having that mentality, having to go around like that, it just fuels your ego. Because if nobody's fucking with me, because I walk around a certain type of way, that boosts your serotonin in your mind. Nobody fuck with me. Can't nobody fuck with me. And now you walking around that everywhere you go. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? And now you're treating people a certain type of way because you just feel you just feed your ego. You know, and I think ego death is what a lot of us need. A lot of us need to really sit back and realize that that shit is good in only certain situations because you are
Yeah,
going to need that because there's a fine line between ego and self-worth. You know what I'm
absolutely.
saying? And
That's
I
a
think
bar.
we all struggle with feeling self-worth as black men because as again, we got all these statistics and all these things going on that's telling us about ourselves. And another point, you know, like that goes with the ego, like I'm saying, is statistically speaking, right? We got all these statistics, yada 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 yada, all our entire lives. And I'm gonna leave y'all with this. You know, I'm not about to go nowhere, but I want y'all to really think about this. If we've been hearing these statistics since we could read statistics, because all
Mm-hmm.
of us on this chat know them fucking statistics, then what do we have room to tell the world who we are for ourselves? If the world is already telling you who you are before you even understand we've been reading these statistics since we was probably about 6 years old. When you really think about this shit, bro, you are 6 years old and you're reading statistics about how you finna go to jail at 13, bro. You
Yep.
know how
Mm-hmm.
crazy that is? At 6 or 7, and your teachers are telling you this shit too.
Self
That's why
fulfilling
I said the school
prophecy.
system is super important, bro.
Self
Like,
fulfilling prophecy. Absolutely.
you know what I'm saying?
That social programming,
If
man.
since exactly if as since we've been knowing numbers and reading this entire time they've been telling us who we are. Leave this with y'all when y'all go off. You know when this podcast go off. Who are you going to tell the world who you are, and who you going
Yeah.
to tell your kids, your siblings, your spouse, your wife, your girl, whoever, bro, that you close to? It's time for us to tell the world who you are, man, because
That's a
they've
Hey,
been
bar.
telling us
to
who
that.
we are.
That's what I always hated. You know, they always had that saying, hurt people, hurt people. And I
Mm-hmm.
always like I'm a personally person like a pet peeve. Like no matter what you go through, don't influence nobody to go through it with you if you know it's really hurting, if it's really pain. Like I'm at that age now. I won't talking this shit, excuse me, you know, before, but at that age now, like when I be listening to these rappers, bro, it's like even with the young boy, right? The reason I want to go back and say I ain't gonna say I don't mess with him, but bro, even if that's what you're going through, bro, why you influencing, bro? You feel me? You got tens of millions of kids listening to you. And if you really feel the way you really feel, if you pick that type of music out, they still gonna listen to you, bro. Like you don't, you know what I'm saying? They still gonna listen to the young boy no matter what you do, bro. What you say. So you don't gotta influence them to be bad just cause you hurt or just cause you mad or upset. But that's it. That's what they say. Hurt people hurt people. So it is what it is, man.
Can
Job
I
9:24 speaks to the earth is given into the hand of the wicked or the wicked
mhm.
Right,
for the comment.
right,
Mm.
But
right.
yeah, who was about to say something? I'm sorry, I had to get that off while the
Yeah.
comment was
Yeah,
up.
yeah. Kind of going back to what Jonathan was saying. I think I kind of lost my thought. I'm gonna try to get it back though. But like, so I've seen situations where people grew up in good environments, right?
Mm.
But for some reason they decided to go the other way. And that could have been, the peers influenced him. But I know for a fact in the home that none of that stuff was allowed. But then you got people in bad situations. Like they say, one of the statistics says people that grew up in a single parent home. I did that. But I chose to ignore those statistics. Dang, help me say it. Statistics.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. What's
I know.
yeah.
I know.
But I chose so every one of those, I took that not having a father in the household. I say, you know what? I'm going to do better than everything that he did. Right? So that also I had a lot of anger inside, right? If you knew me, you wouldn't known that unless you really, really knew me, right? So I didn't let that take over, how I went about life. Even though I probably should have talked about it a little earlier, went to therapy or something like that. But I'm gonna tell you what hit me was, so I guess this the part that kind of changed my mental when I had my son. And when I had my son, I was in a group of men at church, and we was talking about, issues and stuff. Somewhere it was a forum where men could just talk and get things off their chest. And somebody said, how can I be a good father to my son if I don't forgive my father? So from that point forward, like within that next week, I had a conversation with my dad, and we both on the phone crying, bro. I'm talking about crying, can barely get stuff out. And he already knew from the very first thing I said, we need to talk. He knew what it was about to be about. And he always wanted to have that conversation, but he never knew how. And then find out he didn't have his father in the household. So he didn't know how to be a good father. And he admitted that. So now we
And the
cordial,
cycle continues,
you know what I'm
but
saying?
you stop the
Exactly.
cycle, brother.
So that moment,
congratulations for stopping
I said the cycle breaks right here, bro. So we
Respect.
talk more now. He meeting the grandkids, so he's around. It's still like some hurt there, but I kind of understand as a father now. You know what I'm saying? I kind of understand some of the things that, okay, he came home and wouldn't even come see me. He probably was running from the home that he had, trying to get a break. So he didn't have the mental space to be with, his kids that were back home. So I was like, okay, I kind of.
Oh man.
He was cooking too. He was slow cooking.
Yeah, I'm back. My bad.
Okay.
So even though it still hurts some, but I have a better understanding now that I'm older. You know what I'm saying? So all that hurt from the past, I had to let it go.
That's real.
I had to let it go because you could only mask it for so long. I could put a smile on and be on fire on the inside.
That's real. I did
You know
that.
what I'm saying? And that's
that was me.
If you know me, I never really fought. You never heard me fight in school. You know why?
Yeah.
It was too much anger. I was scared. I was scared of what I was gonna do if I let all that anger out at one time.
That's real.
So they
That's
might have looked,
hard.
oh, Kel not gonna fight. He cool. He the peacekeeper. Cool. Yes, I prefer to be that way because the thoughts that I had in my head, I was gonna let all that anger out at that moment. So having those thoughts right now, I say, you know what? It ain't worth it. Because I don't know how it was gonna end.
Yeah, that's why I had said earlier, like a lot of the trouble, I gotta blame myself for my choices at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel you chose the better way, and absolutely. But yeah, it'd be our choices. We cause our own trauma sometimes based on our choices, man.
Yeah. It's all about choices, but it's not saying you right or wrong. It's just a learning experience.
Right.
I ain't get it right every time with everything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But
awareness is real.
Yeah,
Gotta first
just
be
gotta be
aware.
Awareness is real. Awareness is real.
But
And Kel walked us right into one of our questions.
Oh, there
Pardon,
we
so
go.
what you gonna say, brother? No,
I was just gonna
finish
say,
thought.
man, I know it's if you're listening and you out there, you got problems with daddy issues or mama issues or whatever. Yo, forgive. No matter what happened, just forgive, man. Replace that with love. You ain't gotta be all, up under them every single moment, but at least forgive it so you can love the people that you are bringing into this world.
Absolutely.
Makes
And
sense.
I think
it ain't no other way. Absolutely.
When bro said awareness, man, I think that's one of the first steps to unlearning stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like having
Oh yeah.
awareness of that they're even a problem, then accepting the fact that, what comes along with, dealing with that problem. Like unlearning is gonna be one of the biggest things, like in this process of ours trying to, get through this trauma and stereotypes.
That's real.
Oh yes. And
He
then you
walked
gotta
us.
break through these kids,
Yeah,
Like
that's the
these
next step.
kids think they know
Mm.
everything. And we did too when we was growing up. Then we
Of
realized we ain't
course.
know nothing.
And
You
that's
Did
know what
we?
it.
I'm saying?
Damn.
For
It don't seem like we
real.
did as much as they do these days, boy. Dang.
But I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
our
they
parents would
yeah.
beg to differ. We was on
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
bullshit.
yeah, probably so. It'd be like, whew.
Oh, we
Hey,
was on
oh
bullshit
yeah.
for real.
Yes,
It
sir.
walked us right into our next question. Good segue, Kel. The question I want to pose to the panel: what role did past generations play in black men's trauma, and how do we break it? Kel kind of started us off,
Oh yeah,
but
I'll
I
let
want to
somebody
start
else go.
with
Well, we did. Last generation's play.
let's start with Wardy.
That's trauma.
What
Mm.
role did past generations play in black men's trauma, and how do we break it?
I mean, like I said on when we just went live the other day, I love Mom Duke to death, but I feel like some of the rearing tactics that parents used on us were more so fear based instead of
Ooh.
through intellect. You know what I'm saying, or through
Mm,
intelligence, or like you do your door to give choices and show what the outcome could be, or the different steps. So I think that might be one, and I think coming up, parents teach young black boys to be reactive, but at the same time of you being reactive, they want you to have resolution skills, like problem solving, and then it kind of gets mixed up because in you know in the fact that in the time that all of this is happening, we when we learning, you're telling us don't do this, don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if we learning that, then like I said, we're being followed, we're being taught to follow it. Then when we go
Mm-hmm.
out there and follow somebody, then we get in like it is more confusing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
what do I do? You teach me not to learn on my own, but you shunning me for being a follower, learning from somebody who I feel like know more than me. So
mm,
Oh yeah.
that's
I think
hard.
it's some of that shit is like confusing that growing up, man. Like,
I like it. Anybody else?
Oh man, the list. There's a list of things that I feel like I'm gonna call them the OGs instead of just saying past generations. Like the OGs back where we were from. If you went to the spot, which depending on who you was talking to, you knew what the spot was. Probably you was playing basketball, you was playing football, whatever with the OGs, or the OGs was on the side while you was playing. At some point, for whatever reason, I'm pretty sure Jay, Boone, y'all know what I'm talking about. At some point, you end up having to slap box one of your boys because the OGs y'all was talking shit to each other.
Put
So now
y'all
they
up.
they gassing y'all up. Now you got to slap box. Then
Yeah.
slap boxing goes into real fight.
Oh yeah.
Before you know it, you fighting and don't even realize what you fighting for. You
Yep.
fighting because the OGs just hyped y'all up. Like you probably lost in slap boxing. Now you know, oh man, put your real heads up for really fighting. Now you really fighting. But who's
Right.
gassing it up? The OGs. Don't be no bitch. Don't be no pussy. Boy, ain't no way back in the day some OG tell you don't be no pussy and you was gonna be like, man, I don't care. I ain't worried about it. No, you was gonna do it. You was
Yeah.
gonna swing. You was gonna
Charged up.
fight because
Gosh.
you didn't want to look weak. You didn't want like no punk or nothing in front of all these people, man. It nowadays niggas try to do stuff for the girls, but we didn't. It wasn't even about no girls. It was just you didn't want to look weak in front of nobody, especially
Nobody,
where we was
yeah.
from. You can't look weak around nobody because the moment you look like you the softy, the weak one, boy, they coming at you every day on the
Every day.
bus,
And
off
then
the bus,
and
at
she
school. You know they coming at you.
yeah. And then
Yep.
CJ can
but
attest. I was always the one that if anything happened like that around me or like the people I was with, I mean CJ, I'm sure CJ done it too. I think I seen CJ do it a couple of times.
Man, look, you
Once we
got
got a
to.
little older, and we started realizing what it was about, it got to a point when I was like, well, how about you just fight me? You just tell your
Boy,
OG, you know what I'm saying? The OG be like,
well,
oh, y'all fight. It was like,
Oh, like
I like to play
they
with.
picking on your homie, but you know your homie ain't
Yeah,
gonna do nothing.
and
Like
then it
shout out to
became,
my
and that became a
homie
thing.
Eric Shambly. I got into like 5-6 fights because he was the homie. He was like the nerdy dude, but I fucked with him heavy. He didn't bother nobody. If he got picked on, I'm swinging on you, bro.
Yeah,
Don't
we got to a lot of fights like that.
a lot of fights.
That's why we, even though I'm not so tied to the hood like that anymore, the things that, and CJ probably see the same way. No matter how far I go with everything that I do when I come back is nothing but love because we didn't feed into that.
Nah.
It took a while, but it took a while for us to sit down within ourselves to be like, look, man, I don't care where you at, bro. Don't let these old niggas, man, boost your head up, man, and go out there and do nothing stupid. And it took somebody like me and CJ to really, because we went through that.
Yeah.
And even though it might have been a year or two apart with the younger ones when we seen it, we told the OG straight up, like, we ain't doing that no more, bro.
Swear, bro.
Because again, I'm
Hey, yo, you
beefing
know
with
what's even
somebody.
worse? My
Yeah.
fault. Go ahead.
Because it's like now I'm beefing with somebody because you wanted
Because
just
they
some
said so.
entertainment. You know what I'm
That's their
saying? It's like
entertainment, yeah.
it got to
Girl,
the
that's
point
all
where
it
it was
is.
just like, and that loss, and when that happened, CJ probably, like when that happened, I'm just saying CJ because me and CJ grew up in the same area, man. And it's like when that happened, that was a real big disconnect that grew even wider with us as black men.
With no
Because now it
explanation.
was like the OGs won't fucking with us because it's like we can't manipulate them, we can't mold them the way we want because these niggas is thinking way beyond the hood. So we just gonna kind of shun them out, or we just not even gonna fuck with them. And then we gonna get all the weak niggas that just listen to us to
do the
hone
same
in.
thing.
And then now it's like now we the OGs and we don't even know what's left and right because I'm 16. But now I'm beefing with niggas that's 30 years old.
30 plus coming talking shit
They've
to you
been in
because
the
you go to
game,
the
but just
Arab store.
because you can't manipulate and mold us. Now I'm beefing with you and I'm 16. I don't even have the firepower to even do this with you. I'm in, like, again, I got school in the morning. I used to say that shit. We used to laugh when I used to say that shit.
That's
Crackheads knocking
real.
at the door. All kinds of stuff. Bro, I got school in the morning, bro. Even though I might not be paying attention, bro, but this is my escape. Me getting on that bus, bro, and fucking on some hoes and chilling with some people that I don't see, that's my escape. Because when I come back, bro, I don't have the luxury of being away from it. You know what I'm saying? But
It's
I
right
think
there in your face.
to
What's even
circle it
worse is
back
when you
with
get of age and you find out
yeah.
the OGs, the people that we was listening to, was actually real life squares. Like, yo, they nigga was a whole square the whole time. That shit is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like when you get of age, you recognize that. Because most of the time, the people that influence you to do, influenced us to do stuff like that, when we got of age, we found out they was real squares.
And you know what, bro? You raised a great point because I never thought about it like that. Because people like me and CJ, we had older people that knew these
Way
people
older.
that were telling us. Like I had the luxury again of having older brothers that grew up with these same dudes that's telling me to do this, and my brothers is picking me up like, bro, that he the one running the block, bro. He used to,
bro.
Right.
So
He
when I
won't
came
like
in,
that. He won't
so when I
like
came
that.
in, it was like that too. So I had that mentality like my brothers. It's like my brother just told me, you won't really like that, brother. So then that's when the rift came. But just to circle it back, I think the past generations, how we playing Black Men's Trauma, I think something that I focus on and I'm really big on is history.
Yeah.
I think that's where they failed us at. I feel like we don't know our history. And I mean, we can talk street history, we can talk our bloodline history, we can talk any type of history. I just think history within the Black community is just something that's focused on because school systems or because it's ripped away from us through paper genocides, through systematic oppressions and replaced. And again, you got systems telling us who we are, so we don't know our history. And I think that's one of the things that I feel like our past generations didn't speak on enough, because also even with people that have their parents, both parents in their lives, right? Like, even your grandma, bro, your grandma, your granddad, you ask your grandma, how was it back in the day? They won't tell you shit.
Like,
when you really think about it, they'll tell you some shit, but they won't tell you the shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's like a thing where it's kind of like, I don't want to tell you because I don't even know why it's like that. But I feel like if our grandparents, you know what I'm saying, they taught us how to cook. They taught us how things that push us forward. but they didn't tell us the
Context.
history. They didn't tell us like
There's no
what made
context.
you happy. What made you happy, bro?
They didn't want to
What the ice
reminisce.
cream like? You know what I'm saying? Like, what was it like? What was your escape when you was going through this? You know what I'm saying? And it's like you can't really fault them for that, but it's like I feel like history is something that the Black community just doesn't talk about enough. Because if you know your history, then you don't repeat the same shit that's going on right now.
I
That's
think
Because
very
guess what? If we knew our history and you knew that your great uncle tried to be a doctor and he went through the doctor and he became a doctor and you read his story and now you in doctor school, you like, damn, I'm reading this shit now. I'm going through the same things. Now guess what? Now you got footsteps to walk. You have footsteps to follow. But again, we don't really write down our history enough. We don't know who our great uncles was. We don't know who our great grandparents was.
Yeah.
You know, and
For
I have the
real.
luxury, you know, me and bro have the luxury of knowing that because our parents, our parents and our grandparents wrote it down and we know things, we hear stories about things. But when I'm talking to my homies and I know the general population,
Hey, I ain't
they
like
don't know
that
shit.
at all. On
Yeah.
They
my
don't know shit
mom's
about where they
side,
come from.
definitely don't.
And tell me that's not a missing identity. You don't know if you
Indeed.
don't, bro, you don't know
Oh yeah.
nothing past your grandma, bro. That's crazy.
Yeah,
How you know who
that's
you
real.
are? Who is
You
those
don't even
people,
know what's
bro?
your bloodline like
For
what
real.
you're capable of, you know. But
Facts.
I got
I just found out recently my grandmother's brother was like the biggest contractor for construction in Connecticut, you know. And I'm like, really? Like he was doing it big up there, millionaire. And when he came home, it was like, oh, that's uncle, you know, that's uncle such and such. Oh, you know, he always give you like $20 or something like that. But I ain't know he was stacking like that, and it didn't matter, you know. But just to know that, you know, that's part of the family.
You would have walked a little
Somebody's,
different in the room.
yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Little stuff.
I would have talked to him differently and pulled some of that knowledge, you know, before he passed away. You know what I'm saying? What made you do this? You know, what gave you the courage to do that? How did you go about doing it? You know,
Exactly, man.
how did you start out? You know, how big was your crew? You know, and stuff like that.
I tell people
See,
all the time, man, if you got a relative that's old right now, man, ask them as many questions as you can.
Oh yeah,
Ask them
oh
who your
yeah.
grandma was. Ask them who their parents. If you got a grandma in your life, ask them who their parents was. What did they do?
it's
Like
like
really know that because that's in you. Every
Oh
walk of
yeah.
life, right? When you wake up in the
It's
morning,
in you,
guess what? Your
man.
granddaddy probably did the same stretch. He probably said the same shit. You know what I'm saying? Like
You
just
can
stuff
see it
like
in
that,
your
man.
kids. You can see it in
no,
your
that
no,
part.
kids
that's
now,
true.
you know. It's
That's
It
true.
like
depends on
my
what
son
family you
hold his
come
head
from
the
too.
same way.
Yeah,
Depends on what
It's
type
like
of
definitely.
family
I
you
know
my
come
that's
my
from,
something.
bro.
dad's side of the family, they tight knit. Like my dad's the youngest of like nine kids. He's the
Mm.
youngest. I think my dad like 55. Uncle Mary is the oldest. He like 71 or something like that. And they all tight, they all close. That's on my dad's side. I could talk to my uncles and aunts. It's like a
Mm.
set of twin aunts, set of twin uncles. They all tight, they all cool. Ain't nobody beefing with nobody on my dad's side. On my mom's side, boy, everybody damn near dead. So it's
Man.
just like it wasn't until I was like in my 20s when I finally got like a real storyline about who my grandpa was. Because
Mm.
technically, my grandpa and grandma on my mom's side, they weren't together. They had he was in and out the picture, in and out the picture. Then I
That's
found out my
trauma, bro.
grandpa
That's trauma.
wasn't even American. He was German. It's a
Oh
German
wow.
black dude. He's not even
See what I
from
mean?
America. So to find that out, I was like, well, you know how, if you know my last name Bazemore, so you thinking like, I'm kin to all the Bazemores out here. Find out my grandpa, where the name came from, born and raised in Germany.
Oh wow.
So
I think
any other family I might have is out there, but I would never meet him. I'll never get
Yeah.
to know him because I wasn't until my 20s when I found out this guy ain't even American. That's
King
wild.
Bazemore.
That's
Yeah,
yeah,
wild.
yeah.
I
That's
think
the
that
trauma, brother.
the role that the past generation played in Black trauma, I think it was twofold. So to speak to the corner boys, what normally happens is men that reach success and they're from impoverished areas, they move away and they don't come
Mm.
back.
Mm-hmm.
They only come back to visit, and it's very temporary. You feel me? They don't
Guilty.
have
A
time
weekend.
to take up with the guys to really mold them. And guess what's left? The flunkies. Now, not everybody on the block was a flunky. I'm not gonna say that, but the mass majority of the guys that were left to show the youngins were the ones that didn't make it. They didn't make it out. You feel me? And again, that's unfortunately, but those are the ones that are closely exposed to the youth. And another thing that I think happened, another role is what Wardy spoke to earlier, is giving lessons without context. I think a lot of times our parents was they taught us from a place of authority, like a place of total authority, meaning do what I say, not as I do. Stay in a child's place, but no context was ever given to you as a child to help you navigate as a man. So the only thing you got from your mothers and fathers was what they said, and you were comparing it to what you saw. And then when you saw any type of a disconnect between the two, it was easy for you to now take the advice of your parents and kind of negate everything they said to do what you wanted to do, because your justification is your words don't match your actions, right? And so I think that the way we were raising our children, the way we were raised was to give authority with no context. And there was never enough time for our parents to follow back and give us the lesson. It was just do this. But again, if your parents are working or you in an impoverished area, they don't have the time to double back to be like, this is why I told you to do this. Or what happened after you did it? What happened after you didn't do it? So there was no time to reflect, to even get to a solution to help your child understand and navigate the world.
For me,
I agree.
Let's
For me,
welcome
when the road
Sion
go,
to the
like-
panel first, real quick. Pardon self, Bino. What's up, Brody? What up,
How y'all
Chick?
doing, brother?
Good, bro.
Chilling. What you gonna say, Bino? Pardon self.
Yeah, just to answer that question, like, you know, everybody got their own walks, right? Their own walks, their own paths. But like for me, I'm a product of teenage parents, and like, even though I grew up in Bertie, the way I was raised wasn't the Bertie way. I wasn't too connected with people from Bertie, right? Like I was still connected to family members and cousins that were still in New York and Jersey. So I say that to say this, like, a lot of us was taught how to survive before we was taught how to live. You know what I'm saying? We was raised to survival first. You teach your kids how to fight before you teach them how to read, because they got to survive depending on where they from, what environment they come from, right? So that's and that's for one. For two is a lot of our past generations, people weren't educated. They wasn't aware, so they only could tell you what they know. Like my grandma ain't making past 5th grade.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people, grandparents, they had to go out in them fields and work and help.
Oh, yeah.
Like, so the education stopped from them, the awareness stopped from them. So it's like you could blame them, but you really can't blame them because of conditions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
We
it's all
can
about
blame
the
us. The
circumstance.
generation now, we supposed to take all the blame, because the information is out there, it's for free, it's accessible in a blink of a phone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we still shouldn't be teaching our kids how to survive, because you don't have to teach. Even if you're in the hood, you get plenty of assistance.
That's real.
Depending on what area, don't get me wrong. But if you do in the hood, you can move. People can move. You feel what I'm saying? So it's a decision that you make to stay in the hood, have to teach your kids how to survive. And it's different. It's different outlets than it was back then for them, though. For our parents and grandparents, we have too many more opportunities. Like, we got to cut that shit out. You feel what I'm saying?
Facts.
Yeah.
T,
But
what
I
you got on the
think-
subject? Oh, go ahead, Wardy, and then we'll go to
Nah,
T.
all right. I was just about to say, I think when we teaching or when we teaching our kids to fight, I don't really think we even teaching them. I think we just tell them to fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, fight back. Don't get hit. Don't let nobody hit you. If they hit you, hit them back. But not really even teaching them how to fight. So really, what we doing is tapping into their aggression, more anger, more. You know what I'm saying? It's like
And
it's like a
leveraging our
repetitive
authority.
cycle, right?
Yep.
And then you know what I'm saying, we get whoopings. You know what I'm saying, we teaching them to fight back, and then we get a whooping. Then you can't fight back. And then it's like, what do you think you're gonna do? Like bro said, hurt people. So once I got hurt. Once I get out here, the first person I see, I'm gonna take it out on. You know what I'm saying?
Fire off.
I can't do nothing. My mama sitting here whooping me, or my daddy sitting up here whooping on me, and you telling me to fight back. And then when all right, I got you. So it's like it's a lot of traumas, man. It's a lot.
The world
lot
becomes
of-
a scapegoat.
Right.
And Brittany said, because they also say if you lost the fight, you get to fight at home for me.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
That part,
So
Brittany.
you just tapping into aggression
Shout
and
out to the
anger,
Raw
man.
Bunch. Big facts. What you got, T?
First I'm gonna say how y'all brothers doing, man.
What's good with
What's
you?
up, brother?
Not much, brother. Most of y'all up here I know. I mean, I probably
Yeah.
known y'all for years.
Right.
But number one, the topic in which y'all addressing, beautiful. What y'all doing right now, this is what our black young men need to be doing.
Respect.
Every day I turn on my news and I'm seeing another young black man dead, slain, in jail. For us to be the greatest people on this planet, and we know we the greatest, who else do it better than us? Who's the greatest basketball players, the greatest singers, the greatest actors? That's us. That's us. We are the salt of this earth. We are the backbone of everything that this country has made to be. We did it.
Oh yeah, facts.
They're afraid of us. They're afraid of seeing young black men like such as yourself up here talking amongst brethren, coming together, compromising, trying to find a solution because we need a solution. We've been fucked up for 430 years. Excuse me for cursing. For 430 years, we've been fucked up in this world. And now young black men such as yourself is coming up and saying, we got to do something different. It's too much shooting. It's too much killing. It's too much. Our sisters out here hoeing themselves out. They think our sisters are so fucked up in this world that they think by twerking is going to get you attention. How far have we failed from civilization of humanity as what we are to think that our sisters can twerk their ass and get respect? Our young men can be a part of a gang and tote a pistol and get respect. That's not it. It's nowhere near it. Our respect comes from how you treat one another. I respect every one of y'all brothers because I see every one of y'all brothers that made a change in some form of your life. I know Wody. I know Bino. I know these brothers. These brothers have been out there in the streets and did shit that they not proud of. But at the same time, these young men are sitting up here right now saying, we got to change. So if these young men can change, goddamn it, the rest of us can change. We have to. We're fucked up as a people. As a people, we're fucked up. Like you were saying earlier, brother, we don't know who we are. We call ourselves black, but there ain't a country on this planet called black.
That part.
So how can we be something that we're not even a part of as a landmass? All of this is 100%, but that displacement comes from the people that runs this world.
Absolutely.
They don't want you to know who you are. They don't want to know that you're the greatest thing on this planet. We don't need SPF 15 when we walk outside the door, but the people that run this planet need that.
Facts.
I can go outside right now and get more energy from the sun than I can doing anything else. But the people that run this world, they can't go outside without some type of skin protection, or if not, they're gonna get melanoma. So why should I follow the customs in which the people that can't even stand the sun, that is a natural energy source, why should I listen to them? Why should I even converse with these people?
I got a question.
I have to converse with y'all. Go for it, my brother.
What, all right. See, how can I say this? Culture. Every other culture on basically on the planet, their culture connects them to their creator in some way or form, some way, shape or form. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. But ours, if you think of our culture, what do you think about? Cookouts, spades, barbecue, gang banging. You know what I'm saying? It's just, hoeing.
That's not our culture.
But what is our culture then?
That's the thing. That's a. If you ain't never asked a great question, Walter, you just asked a great question.
Oh yeah.
Prior to 1619, like you said, brother, we don't know who the fuck we are. Like you said, our culture now has become rap music, wearing fashionable clothes, twerking, rapping. That's not a culture. These are intimate. Being an athlete, being a drug dealer, nothing. So if it don't connect you to something that's positive, then it can't be of creation. These are just things that have formed throughout years. We're way more than that. My creator looks like me. When I was going to church as a kid, I'm seeing everything opposite of me in this church. Even the people that's in the pews, they look like me, but the God in which I'm serving don't look like me. Until I really start reading the book and understand that everybody in the book looks like me. It says it in the book that they're black, they're dark skinned, they're melanated. So our culture starts way before 1619. 1619 is just the progress of being a nigga in this country. That's all.
Right. And I think that, you know, seeing a creator that's a different, you know, different than you that's a traumatic in itself. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's just because that already make you want to kind of, you know, listen to the people that God look like. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Or
Religion.
if that's my
That
God,
was
then I'm
that was
you know,
intentional. That was
yeah.
intentional though.
Let me ask all of y'all a question. Very simple question. Very simple. When you see a man in a business suit, what's the first thought you think of when you see that man in that business suit?
White man.
Got some
I
money.
mean, but as far as who he may
He
be,
got some money.
He has business.
Money.
He has business. He has business.
Okay,
to attend to.
perfect.
Entrepreneur.
Exactly. But not knowing that the first business suits were worked by gangsters. Al
Mafia, I
Capone.
swear. Yes, the mafia.
Those are the first businessmen. So we're trying to follow a custom of men that don't even have anything to do with our well-being. We think putting on a business suit and graduating from college makes us in some form successful in this world. No, success comes from what y'all doing right now. That's successful.
Culture.
By coming together, changing the mind state of young brother. If I can change one 16-year-old brother to put down a gun and not shoot another brother, I've done my job.
That part.
Oh yeah.
Facts.
That part.
Facts.
That's what we're about.
I can't be more appreciative of anything else than changing one life, because one life is going to change another life and another life.
And another.
That's what it is.
Right.
They know their history. And once they
we have to.
But that's what I feel like that us as, you know, people that went through this, men that went through this and, you know, have the background to even speak about this stuff, we have to let it be known that, you know, we don't accept this stuff no more. This is not the right thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we did this, and that's why I can tell you that, you know, gang banging is not gonna lead you nowhere. That's why I can tell you that selling drugs is not gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like it's quick money right quick, but any money gained quickly will disappear quickly. Like, you know what I'm saying? Money gained little by little grows. You know what I'm saying? So it's just things that we that went through it need to say. Like, we need to stop accepting certain things, and you know what I'm saying, start letting the youth know, like, listen, bro, like I say this all the time. Like, it was told to me when I, you know, listen, we got enough shooters. We need lawyers, doctors, judges, DAs, such and so on. And then that need to be the mentality that we have. Like, because how can we, I mean, we keep talking about change, but we ain't influencing the kids to be no politicians. We're not influencing the kids to be lawmakers. We're not influencing the kids to be no head detectives, judges, Lord. You know what I'm saying? Nothing like that. We encourage them to be singing and dancing still. Basketball, like after we, you know what I'm saying? Like why are we studying singing and dancing for them when we already know that that's what they want from us? They want us to sing and dance. I remember I seen I think it was I forgot, but it was a fighting movie where the dude was telling him, like, yeah, I want to be in y'all society, and I want to be. He was like, listen, bro. Besides, yeah, we are amazed at you how high you can jump. We love how fast you can run. We love like that. But when it comes to being around you, we don't want to be around you. You know what I'm saying? We don't even want y'all in our mix because we know how. You know what I'm saying? Like we want to keep y'all down in all ways. So and we already know that, bro. We got to start perpetuating the opposite. We got to perpetuate what we want to see in our future. Man. We got kids now. Like, I know we don't want our kids to have to, you know, go through the same thing. Like, you know, so we just gotta, I feel like we really, to start unlearning, then we gotta start unteaching it too.
Yeah. And I think it starts by exposure, right? So everybody on this panel, we are all successful in our own rights. I think that the first thing we can do is go back, show them something different. Because without you, the guy that was still on the corner is still on the corner. He's still giving them dumbass lessons, because I get it. Our lives are super hectic, super busy. But every time I stroll back through Burt T, I'm going to stop through the gas station. I'm going to go holler at the little homies. I'm going to give them something. You feel me? Like, the boys will tell you, every time I came home from college, I would come back with another story. Now, granted, they weren't always positive stories, but at least they were exposed to the idea that you can do that too. Hey, y'all that stay, it's crazy. I would take the boys, load them in my car. Yo, let's go up to Raleigh real quick. Let me introduce you to the guys. Let me show you how we do my fraternity. Like we expose them to something different. And sometimes I know with us fellas, we got a lot going on. We got families to raise, we got careers to get into. But sometimes just those weekends to where it's like, bro, I got a little bit of free time. Let me snatch up somebody from the block and just show them what it looks like to be normal.
And I didn't even
Let me
know
show you
you
what
was
success
doing
looks
that.
like.
You was doing that with me and the people that I was with, man, and you know, like going through that and actually having an older brother in school. And when my mom would send me, or she would say, "Oh, your Dron coming to come get you" and whatnot. You know, it was a times where I was just like, bruh, I don't want to go over there with them over there, man. That's out of my comfort zone, bro. Like a school and Raleigh is big. They got a mall. Ain't no mall in Bertie. They ain't never
Hell
been to no mall. They got 2-3 stories. This is uncomfortable for me, bro. And it's like this is my own brother, and I'm seeing him with maneuver through and a frat and all this stuff, and I'm just like, this might be for me a little bit. I'm gonna be a little bit more open to it, and I think that we need to do that more. But also, what I was saying was, you never really think about it because not only did he take me with him, he took my close homies with me. He was like, all right, bro, I could tell you don't even want to be here. Just bring the niggas with you. Bring your niggas with you, bro. I got room for everybody. And he would take, unfortunately, the people that are close to me are incarcerated right now. So free Vito, free John. I gotta say that.
Free the
You
God.
know what I'm saying?
Free the God.
Those are my two right hand people, bro. And a lot of people don't understand that. Like those two guys are incarcerated right now, but those are my brothers, bro. So when I'm telling these stories, it's like my homies that I supposed to call. I can't even talk to them. These are the people that I went to Raleigh with my brother in college. You know what I'm saying? We had to do that to get out of that environment so we could understand what we could have been or what we
Oh yeah.
could be and see a different type of life. And I think that's something that really stuck out to me. And I do that. That's why I do the work that I do now outside of the film and music. I just do that. I have to do that, bro, because it's like these kids need us, man. And I think that's once you get out of that, man, and coming back, I think all of us see it, bro. Everybody on this thing, everybody, even if you got kids and CJ in the military, so I know you got young kids that coming in and out. You know what I'm saying? And Wardy,
yeah.
I know you see it all the time, man. We all have a reach. You know, you got kids, like, you know what I'm saying? We all have a reach, man. And I think like just packing up a car full of kids, man, and taking their ass to Chuck E. Cheese, fucking taking their ass to the mall, bro. That's our first time, bro. That was literally you know how crazy it is where we come from, bro. When you go to a mall and you like, bro, I never really been to a mall before. I'm 18 years old and I'm like, bro, I ain't never been to a mall.
Yep.
Hello,
Hey,
I
y'all
got a
know what's
better one
crazy? You
for
know
you.
what's crazy though?
When you
You know how
go to
crazy that is?
McDonald's back in the day, you looked at it like a
McDonald's.
trip, bro.
45
You looked at
minutes out.
McDonald's
You
like
hear
a
me?
Hey, but
trip.
look,
That's
They
a
can't even
trip. That's
process it
a
when I tell
treat.
people that. I'm like, bro, I'm from a place
You
where
feel
you
me?
don't even get McDonald's, bro. You don't
y'all
That's a
know
even
what's
get
bar.
wild
McDonald's.
though?
I ain't
Like,
even see a mall, bro. My mom couldn't afford it. We couldn't afford it. We went to the Chinese store. And we used to go to Virginia and what was it, Richmond or Newport News, and
Yep.
used to go to the Chinese store where they sold big white tees and spending change. You ain't going to no. We used to, and it killed me because I'm like, ma, the mall right there.
Mm-hmm.
But we
Oh,
went to the
shout out to
Chinese
George
store.
Washington
Oh yeah.
Come
Boulevard.
on now.
y'all know what's
Nah,
crazy though? Like, y'all speak on like a Bertie scale, which is cool. That's what y'all know of, right? Well, that's what we know of. But you got people that's like in New York City, Baltimore's,
Yup.
Atlanta's. They be mentally caged in.
Trapped.
Like when y'all say exposure, you're absolutely right. When you say bringing awareness, you're absolutely right. Teaching longevity, you're absolutely right,
Mm-hmm.
Wardy. Instead of teaching quick money and being an athlete, y'all are absolutely right. Because you got people that live in Baltimore and never been to the opposite side of town or 10
Yeah.
blocks up
Exactly.
the road.
Yeah.
Bro, it's
All
crazy.
they know is the block.
Wow.
And then to
right,
piggyback off what Bino's saying is
right.
that I think that's why I'm in the position I'm in to be in San Francisco and in the Bay, because it's kids that I'm dealing with that are in high school that ain't never had Chick-fil-A, and Chick-fil-A is literally 2 blocks.
That's wild.
But I can't take that and say, well, why ain't you never had Chick-fil-A for the block? I understand it because
Mm-hmm.
I'm the same. Mine's is it just look a little different. That's why I tell people from San Francisco to Bertie County, black men are all facing the same shit. Black boys are
Mm-hmm.
facing the same shit. Now, can you be like, no, niggas? I can't stand when somebody be, y'all niggas don't understand, bro. Y'all got it good. Nah, man.
I
I'm
hate
telling you,
that, bro. I swear
no
I hate
struggle
that.
is greater than the next, bro. No
I hate
struggle
that.
is greater. And it took me a
Victim
while to learn
Olympics.
that. No
Victim Olympics.
Hate that.
struggle is greater than the next. If I'm struggling, guess what? We all in the same boat. You might have a car and I might not have a car, but guess what? You got $500 car payments and you can't afford food. And guess what? My fridge is full, but I gotta walk. Who's struggling the most? It don't matter, nigga. We
Victim
struggling.
Olympics.
Different
Victim
priorities.
Olympics.
You got that fridge full. Guess what? Go get that man some food. He got a car. Get that man a ride. Guess what? Now we cool.
You'll
I
It's
don't.
never
that
I
do the
don't.
simple,
other.
man.
That ain't
I
how
don't
that
want to
works.
take
It's that
this.
simple.
I don't want to take this conversation to another path, but everything y'all saying is already pre-written. Whether most people believe it, whether they don't want to believe it. I mean, I've studied this long enough. I've seen proof. I've seen what it is. Everything that we're talking about was written thousands of years before we existed. That just don't happen by coincidence. I can't tell you your life today, 2,000 years ago. Neither can I say today what it's going to be 2,000 years in the future. All of y'all are saying the same thing. We all telling the same truth. But what we're not doing is understanding what the unity to make us all come together. And it's only one thing. I mean, it is what it is. Everybody got a spiritual being. Everybody got a spiritual mindset. It's in us. It's embedded in us. Before you came into this world, you had a spiritual mind state because it was given to you by your forefathers and your foremothers. But we got to get in tune with that spiritual mind state. A lot of people try to deny certain things, not understand it because we was taught by the people that didn't give a fuck about us. There's no way your oppressor can tell you the truth. The people that beat the shit out of me is not going to tell me the truth. They're not going to tell me that I come from kings and queens. That's the last thing they want to do. I got a book right here. If y'all could see it, it's crazy because the name of this book is From Babylon to Timbuktu, and it's written by Rudolph R. Windsor.
And you remember
That's
that.
crazy.
And you write that down.
Great book. It's only about 100 and something pages. This man studied in Israel. He lived in the land of Israel. He studied there. He went to their universities and took their information and flipped the shit out of it on them. Once you read this book, you'll get a better understanding of pathways of us. But once you read the great book, then you'll get a full understanding of who the fuck you really are.
I like it. That's a bar.
I think I'm gonna give you a little pushback, T. I think people are doing it. I think it's just not getting exposed. They're not gonna show it because they run the media. We got to start running shit too, bro. We got to stop. We got to stop being consumers. We got to stop being consumers. And we want to go in that aspect because it is people that's out here talking what you talking, but you ain't gonna see it because we are consumers and not creators. We create a song, we create whatever fashion, but we're not creating power. We're not creating control, right? We're not creating that. Like so, people need. It's like education, man. Like you said, bro. Like we just need to. Like first and foremost, I think guys need to push being a nerd as cool, right?
Right. That's what I'm saying.
That's the. Like Wardy was saying, we have to, in order to unlearn, we have to unteach, bro, and reteach, bro. Like, it's a journey, bro. Like, we're going to have to leave it up to our kids to take over once we go. Because if we've been going through this for 400 years, we got to understand it might take about 150 and two to at least make it look like a little better. It's not. We probably won't see it in our lifetime, but if you believe in that spiritual stuff like you're talking to, then we'll know that it happened. We'll know that it happened.
True. That leads us into... Go ahead, T, and then I'm gonna lead us. That point actually leads us into one of my videos I want to get to real quick. I'll come to you first, T, but it goes back to what we should pride and what we should celebrate and what we should shun. All right, so T, if you knew when I play the video, hit the unmute so you can hear what's going on.
Okay.
So I just tell y'all the truth. I got to be honest here, and I'm not really. And what happens is that it ends up looking like I'm trying to shoot down your favorite rapper, and I'm not shooting them down. What I'm trying to say is that you live in a country that keeps the black man in a box. The black man is kept in a box in this country. What does that mean? Well, that means that if you are a black man who is good at math, America's not going to pay attention to you. They're going to go pay attention to some mathematician or engineer from India. If you're a black man who's good at engineering, if you're a black man who's good at the law, if you're a black man who knows, who's great at writing, if you're a black man who's good at some skill that involves true intelligence that isn't entertainment based, the world will ignore you. The black man is kind of the white man's clown. Seriously, we're the white man's entertainment, just like the plantation.
All right.
The same thing Bino was saying earlier.
Yeah, I was
Bro.
about
This
to say the
shit,
same
this
thing.
shit is facts, bro. This shit, we know this shit, bro.
That's
And
what
it's
we
just
become because we lost our identity, though, bro. It's not who we are.
exactly.
I mean, I'm not saying that's what you're saying, but
hmm
I mean that's what the common conception is, that that's who we are. We ain't nothing but singing, dancing, shucking and jiving, like, you know what I'm saying? But we are so much more than that, and we know, like, when we converse, you know, me and Strata talk about all the time about concentrated conversations, man. We could take the same conversation we have and spread it out over 10, 15 different conversations. You know what I'm saying? So, like, our minds is brilliant, man. We just not. Just watch, bro. Soon as we get these kids to realize being smart is cool, being like Brino said, being a nerd is cool, being a police officer is not the pigs. Like, that's the only way that you gonna be able to change stuff from the inside. Like, keep talking about it from the outside is never gonna do nothing. You're just gonna keep getting stomped out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Shot. So, in order to change these things, man, we really got to push our kids in the direction to be able to.
We got to push them to be politicians, man. Push them to be the politicians instead of preaching the vote so damn much. You know what I'm saying?
I'll give you one better than that, Bino. As an opposed to teaching them, I think we are all with enough resources to where we almost have to force it upon them with the authority and the context. Meaning, I'm not going to tell you to be a politician. I'm going to walk you up to our local senator and make sure that if he has a job shadowing, that you are there that day. I'm going to make sure we pull up on him when he's doing a public event so you can see it. And we're going to talk about it afterwards. Like, sometimes more than telling them, showing them and exposing them, their minds will do the rest. They'll fill in the gaps. You feel me? But I think a lot of times what we fail at is we fail to expose. We tell, which is a good part, but that's only the first step in children taking anything you're saying, because children are listening to you and they're watching you. When they don't align, they use it as an excuse to do dumb shit. Because what you said and what you're doing ain't the same thing. Exactly. Now they can cherry pick what they want to hear. But if I'm telling you and I'm showing you and we're doing it, it's kind of hard. I'm not saying they won't stray away, but it brings them back because they've been exposed to it through words and sight.
Yeah.
All right. I posted a scripture earlier, and bro, you read it. Job 9 and 24. That's one of the truest scriptures right now in our time. We can show these kids and make them be whatever the fuck we want them to be. But if the people that hate us as a nation of people are controlling everything, they only gonna go but so high.
That's what I'm saying. We got to create. We got to be the ones that start creating.
Either way it go, we can't go higher than what they already put for us. Our government system is ran by the people that hate us. Our senators, our judges, our lawyers. These people hate us. They ain't just started hating us. That's why you see our young black men rapping about violence. And I promise you, probably none of y'all on this panel know who the hell Lil Reese is. Y'all ever heard of Lil Reese?
Of course, he's gonna stay in your face. You're gonna know what all these guys that represent that bullshit, because they stay in your face. That's the thing. We gotta create our platforms, our own media, our own social media, our own rules and laws by being politicians.
We can't do it. We can't do that if they are the controlling masses.
Bro, we can though. We can.
Care about us.
So, hey, look, it's so simple how we can do it too, though, bro. It's so simple. All we have to do is start spending our money with each other. And they'll be begging us for what they could do. What we gotta do?
How about not spending with each other? How about just stop spending with them?
I'm saying we got to spend to somebody. We might as well put the black dollar in rotation with it.
Exactly.
I'm trying to tell you, bro. Once we take the money out of their pocket and And we the ones really keep America going with our spending habits.
Are
You
buying
know
We
what
the
I'm saying?
number one consumers, bro.
$1 billion.
The poorest race in American race, but we the number one consumers.
The number one
You know what I'm
consumers.
saying? So think about it. We
Yes.
just circulate it within our own community. Like,
Now I'm
and
gonna ask all of y'all a question. Every one of y'all. I deal with millionaires. And I mean talking about real multimillionaires every day. I see them every day. I talk to them every day. I build with them every day. None of them millionaires wear anything designer. Not one. We, like you said, we're at the bottom of the totem pole in every statistic in this country. But yet we're the number one consumers of Nike, Polo, Louis Vuitton, Ralph Lauren.
Jordan.
Say you take every amount of designer clothes in your closet right now and sold it and took that money and started buying land. Would that be more beneficial to our people?
Yeah.
But
and
Then
then
why are we still buying the bullshit in which they produce?
and then
I mean, you really want to know the answer, or you just ask?
Yeah.
I want to know the answer. I want to know from the masses.
Because that's
for me.
The status quo, bro. That's what the keeping up with the Joneses. That's how you look
Exactly.
like it.
But that's our mind
That's how the
state.
women's going, you know what I'm saying? That's what the
That's our
women want to
mind.
see. That's what
Let me ask
that's
you a
what
question.
the TV is showing. Like, it's so many reasons why, bro.
True.
So many
But would you rather wear a pair of Jordans on your feet or go home to a $500,000 house? I don't care what the world look at me as. The world can look at. I can go outside and wear pro cans every day, dress in bummy clothes, but I got a nice car and I got a house that's paid for. I don't give a fuck what the world thinks. That's one of our problems. We think about what the world thinks about us. White men come to my store every day and they got multi-million dollars. They got beach houses. Some of a bitch drove up in front of my store with a Lambo. He's 26 years old. You know what he had on his clothes? Some shit from Walmart.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we know that, T, but you know, it's also subconscious programming, brother. Like, we can't, if what you put in your face is what subconsciously beats into you. So when you, like what he said, we know that now, right? But when we talk about the masses, bro, well, awareness, like we talked about on this segment already, right? A lot of people not a lot of have awareness of exposure and things of that stuff. Like, ain't no millionaire black men coming in our face telling us that. I think it's a whole other conversation. That's like financial. We don't have no millionaire black.
Oh yeah, it's coming. It's coming. Financial literacy is coming. Absolutely.
Every one of them white. Every one of them a goddamn devil. Every one of them.
I want to say this because I gotta get off at 6, man, and I do want to say that I'm getting off at 6, and I want to say why I'm getting off at 6 too. But I'm getting off at 6 because I took it upon myself to get all the black filmmakers that I know under one roof. So that's what I'm going to do at 6. So I'm taking this energy that I'm doing here and just taking it right over to some entertainment shit, and I'm building a whole conglomerate
Good
of
deal,
film
man.
in the Bay Area. So we're gonna go crazy tonight. But I do want to say this: what T is saying is immaculate and great. But and it's no but. I ain't gonna say but. What I want people when they watch this, what I want people to know is that there's levels to understanding and there's levels to what we see, and the people that we're reaching out to, they need to get to those levels, right? So for example, you let's just say something that happened in the black community the other week, right? They threw a job fair the other week and they had all these jobs came out and they were packed. I'm talking about jobs that paid more than what the fuck I'm making. I'm like, dang, I might as well apply shit, and nobody showed up. And this is in the middle of the hood.
It's crazy.
These people, our people that in these seats of power say, well, they don't want the damn money. I'm sitting here watching, listening to them. They don't want the money. This is why we don't do nothing in the hood. We might as well go to the Asian place, get all the Asian and the Mexicans, the Latinos, and we should do this. And you know what I said to them? I said, man, instead of blaming people for not showing up for the job interviews and doing stuff, how about we just make a course of how to build a resume? However, you make a course of financial literacy. How about we make a course before we have a job fair to dress a certain way, to do certain things. And I think what T is saying is dope. And you have to understand that it's so many barriers to break before we even talk about
Barriers
making
of
$1 million
entry.
in a business. That
Exactly.
people don't even have the systems at play: school, housing, culture, history. The systems at play have had us so back that
Exactly.
building a business, you got to get people to understand what a business is first. People don't
Yeah.
even know their social security numbers. We still living in times where people don't even have IDs. You would think the motherfuckers have ID. People don't even have IDs. And I'm talking
I
about
think we gotta be
in
very unselfish, man.
and like you said, you got to really understand who you're dealing with, and all
Yeah.
the knowledge that you have. You got to make sure that sometimes when you saying those things, T, or in the positions that we in, that we're not over fueling and we're not over uploading information on people that can't even grasp the concept of making a
Yeah.
fucking job interview and filling out a resume. You're talking about buying land and the motherfucker can't even fill out a resume. You gotta
Exactly.
Facts.
understand that you gotta
Exactly.
Facts.
pull that shit back.
Exactly.
Facts.
You gotta withhold the information to help. And sometimes you gotta
Yeah.
start at square one because our
Exactly.
people do not know shit. You really got to go in, and I'm not talking shit about our people, but you have to go in there like these people don't know anything about nothing. Just like how we were when we were figuring it out, you got to go into those spaces and take those emotions back and really be like, well, where are we at right now? You got to walk in the room and be like, what do you know? Like, what do you know how to build a resume? And you will really be shocked at how many people be like, man, I don't even know what a W-2 is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Hey,
even
Uno, can I
know.
bounce off
Yeah.
you? He
I think it's the
absolutely right, bro. We
audience.
gotta
Yeah.
like start being unselfish. Like, how many times you hear somebody say, "I ain't dumbing myself down for nobody," but that's a very selfish thing to say because
Very.
if you won't change, you gotta dumb yourself back down to alphabet A. You can't expect
Right.
somebody that's at alphabet A to be
Come
all the
on
way up
now.
with you just
And that's
because
what
you're
we
on
do as
alphabet
black
S.
men, bro.
Gotta
You know what
meet
I'm
them
saying?
on their
It's on
level.
I wouldn't
pause.
even say you dumbing yourself down though,
You right.
because
You right.
as you be, you know, as you teach someone, you really testing yourself on the knowledge that you know.
Right.
Hmm.
You know what I'm
But
saying? So
And you,
you gonna make
but
sure as you're teaching someone, do I really know this? Maybe I need to go
right,
back and review this. So
Meet them where
you
they
can look
are.
at it
Yeah,
as, okay,
yep.
I'm
right.
making sure I know the knowledge that I think I know by teaching someone else.
Come on
You
now.
know,
well, I ain't
Yeah,
really
so it's
mean
just
dumb
about
yourself down,
the
but meet them where
mindset.
they at. Like
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I
we
was
we
saying.
try to move so fast because the world's much slow down and be unselfish to know that the work you put in, you might not get to see those benefits.
You're
It has
not.
to
oh
be a
yeah,
You're
very
not.
And
spiritual, unselfish thing. You know what I'm
and
saying?
I think it
Because a
just
lot of
goes
people,
back.
we know
Go
what
ahead.
we know
Sorry.
now. So we expect everybody to know at the same time. No, you got to come back, start to the foundation, to the ground, to the dirt, and work with them back up and take them back with
Yep.
you. If
Because
you can
what
knock
he's
your own
saying is
stuff down, come back down,
important.
build it right back up done with them. You know what I'm saying? Like that
Mhm.
type of mind thing. Like
What he's saying is important, but I just get so scared, man. And
me
I'm
too.
not too proud to say it. I don't get scared, man. But when I see people like T talking about it, sometimes I just be like, damn, man, like what he's saying is so dope because I grasp it. I just know somebody's gonna lose interest
yeah,
because it's
yeah.
just like that just seems
But
unattainable to me.
yeah,
And
but
yeah,
T
I
know his
agree.
You know what I'm
audience,
saying?
I
It's
right?
just
agree.
like,
So
damn.
But
It's like, man, well, he's saying some real shit, but I know somebody watching is probably like, here we go again. Here go a
Right.
nigga with some dreams. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like these things are attainable in very short times if you just listen.
You do it.
Start from
Just
square
do it.
one. You can
and
really
I don't
get it.
think.
and
Oh, go
I'll
ahead,
add
Scrap.
on. I'll add on the T's. You do it. Not only do you do it with an audience. Meaning,
Yes.
Exactly.
if I'm gonna go out and buy land, I'm going to a land auction. I'm packing my car with the hood. Yo, what y'all doing today? Y'all wanna go me go buy
Exactly.
some land? Watch this. Watch how I take this 500
yeah,
and
yeah.
own that shit right
Yep.
there.
Put
Make
that
it
shit on
sound cool.
TikTok. Put that shit on. They
Get
can make
in.
it cool. Fuck it.
Make sure they pull out their cameras. And again, exposure causes. That's the catalyst to change. You have to be exposed to it first. You have to see it.
And
You have to attain it
I
first.
gotta go, but
That's
I gotta leave on this note. Hey man, fuck all the motivational speakers that be making all that money and don't be doing shit.
I got
Oh,
you. I ain't stand y'all
TD Jakes, goddamn.
I ain't got
Right.
there yet because we ain't got there yet, but I can't stand y'all niggas. But also, man, I love y'all, man. I
Hey, they
love
about to
all
show
y'all,
up to your meeting,
all right,
bro.
all love, all love.
Right.
man. You know, I got
Right.
to handle this business, y'all, man. Y'all
Bless,
keep it
brother.
up, man. I'm gonna tune in for sure.
All right.
Nah.
All
All right,
Hey,
bro.
look, I think that's when I started, really understanding like that I needed to change. When I went to the army and went to my first duty station was in Washington State, and just being on the West Coast, it was a culture shock. And like you say, seeing malls and 7-lane highways and being able to go to Canada 3 hours away, it was just so different, man. It seemed like that everything, like how, like, maybe I was feeling like how bro was just talking about, Uno was just talking about, like, man, here go another guy with dreams. But then when I got exposed to it, so I ain't never been to Canada. Then I was able to go to Canada. I'm like, hold on, now I might can do some more. You know what I'm saying? So it was really the exposure, and that really just kind of fuel your dreams. Like, what else can I do? So
Oh
It's
yeah.
on us.
I think that's a
It's
great
on us.
idea to take some of those people out of their immediate area, out their comfort zone, and show them other things that they haven't been, you know, exposed to, or would never be exposed to if it wasn't for someone like us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Facts.
because life ain't really like that music in the movies we see.
No,
Hell
No.
no.
Uh,
You know what I'm saying?
That
no.
shit
And you ain't
cap.
gonna know that till you go out there and see it for yourself. It ain't really like that music we listen to in the movies we watch
Yeah,
every day, bro. That's
Mm-mm.
it ain't.
Yeah.
small pockets of America.
Right.
Yeah,
The world as a whole ain't like that, bro. Shit
it
really
ain't
not
like
like
that.
that for real.
facts.
Honestly, America's like its own goddamn bubble. It's like
Yeah.
we cut off from everything else. Like, yeah, I've seen other places and shit, and I see that they don't move nowhere near like we move. They ain't even going through the same shit that we going through here. I've been to
Mm-hmm.
Jamaica.
Yeah.
Jamaica, a lot of people, Jamaica's this and that. Yo, they was happy in Jamaica.
Oh
It
yeah.
was more black businesses in Jamaica, more black people owning
Hey.
shit, more black people out doing. Not our people. We come here to America. Motherfuckers don't want to do nothing but be on TikTok and make a fucking video. It's a different mind state of people. But this mind state also comes from the masses in which control what we watch, what we do, what we can see on TV, what music we listen to. Ain't nobody promoting a conscious rapper right now. Nobody. But they're promoting the fuck out of Lil Durk.
Yeah.
It's a
That's
different
true.
mind state.
Yeah.
True.
Well, let me
Facts.
ask you this. Let me ask, because this question was asked to me. That the guy told me the only people that don't want to help law enforcement make the community better is the criminal. But our culture has basically adopted the, what I'm saying, no
Yeah.
snitching, what I'm saying, type of thing. But we
Mm-hmm.
saying
Which
we
I feel
want better
like
than our community,
in
but
some bullshit.
you
We
know what I'm
That's
think
some
saying?
bullshit.
it ain't no snitching. They be snitching like a
It's
motherfucker.
snitching like a
Yeah,
motherfucker,
but our culture says no
no snitching.
snitching, but the only
Yeah,
ones
Yeah.
that don't
Yeah.
want you to snitch is criminals, though. You know what I'm saying?
exactly.
Like the
Now,
Right.
upstanding people in the community, they gonna help law enforcement find whoever did this, that, or the third. You know what I'm saying?
but
So
but what person in the right mind wouldn't? If it's a robber in your neighborhood and you got something worth living for, and you hear with, oh yo, this motherfucker done been robbing houses, you gonna wait till when to rob your house before you tell it?
I'm
You
saying
gonna
that's
wait
our
for a
culture.
pedophile to rape your child before? You know what I'm saying? Like these are
Oh
things
yeah.
that
Yeah.
we
That's
hell
our
no.
culture, though,
If I
bro.
know if it's that ain't our
So
culture.
like,
That's
are
what
we
they
gonna have?
gave us.
But I'm
It's an
saying it
illusion they
is
gave
though.
us. It's an
Like,
urban myth. It's an illusion,
right.
bro. That shit.
Yeah, that's a
Mhm.
fairy tale.
You know
They
what I'm
sold
saying?
us a
So, but
dream,
are we
man.
ready to break out of that though? Are we ready to,
I
say, go
Only,
to that?
only every man can say that. Only a
That's, you
man
know what
can
I'm
say
saying?
that.
but
Like
I think
I put it like this. I'm not gonna snitch on my brother for goddamn fucking over his girlfriend and sleeping with another woman.
yeah.
That's my brother. I'm gonna keep that to myself. Don't ask me no questions about it. But if you know it's a known pedophile in your neighborhood and you got a daughter and you see this motherfucker doing shit every day, you ain't gonna tell it.
Well,
I
he got to
think
get out of
Makes
there.
Let's
sense.
when
put
we
the
talking
scenario in
about
reality.
That's what
the
I'm
whole
saying.
no snitching thing, I think it's more so about like gun violence and gang related stuff. Something like pedophile and like sexual assaulting children. That's different. I'm pretty sure anybody that snitch on them. But when it comes
But
to like saying no snitching, from where I'm from where me and Jay like from where we from, when somebody said no snitching, it was more than likely a dude robbed somebody, a dude shot somebody, and the reason why they say it's no snitching is because of two reasons. One, obviously the criminal don't want to get caught, and two, they found out that you snitch, you just putting yourself and your family in danger. Because they found out that you was the one that snitched, they coming for you. Now, something like pedophile, if anything, you're probably not gonna snitch on a cop that there's somebody being a pedophile. You're probably getting the homies or somebody else, and you fucking the
and
guy
fuck him up. Exactly. But as men, we can do that in our community.
Yeah, but definitely the whole no snitching thing, I definitely think it revolves to avoiding getting your own family and people in danger from getting fucked up for snitching on somebody, even though deep down you want to snitch on them because you know they killed somebody, they hurt somebody, blase, blase. But I get it. Snitching is that whole stop snitching thing is stupid, but at the same time, you could be preventing your family from getting hurt at the same time. Because I know somebody personally that got fucked up for snitching. Like they snitched, somehow it got back to them that hey, they don't want that snitch, and then they shot their kid. So I get what y'all saying, but at the same time, I literally know somebody that they suffer the consequences for snitching. So I get it on both sides.
We gotta understand why though. That's the thing we keep missing. Like that no snitching thing comes from a criminal underworld of things, and it's commercialized mainstream. It's fed to the mainstream people. They put it in front of our face. Yes, no snitching was coming from back when they say no snitch. They was criminal on criminal. They ain't supposed to snitch. They both living in a legal lifestyle. You ain't supposed to snitch. I wouldn't snitch on my next door drug dealer. I want to snitch if I shot somebody, another killer. That's what it was for. And they mainstreamed it. They mainstream criminality. They mainstream. They commercialized it. So that's what we at.
If I'm selling a pound of weed a day, I ain't gonna tell my neighbor next door to selling a pound of weed a day just because I want his sales. No,
that's how I look at it.
I'm gonna take mine as I come.
It should apply if you live in that life. It should apply.
Yes.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have been commercialized.
That part.
That's where it went wrong at.
All right.
But you say so back to what's my man name? CJ. So like you said, it can hurt to come back on you and your family, but it may not come back, not snitching can also come back on you and your family because if somebody done something to somebody else, you know what I'm saying? What's keeping them from doing that to you and your family? You know what I'm saying? It may come. I get what you're saying, but it also it's like a thin line because it could come back to where that same gun could be used. I'm just saying hypothetically, it could be a gun or whatever it is, gun violence. It could be straight bullets because they shooting at somebody else, but they hit your house and your kid get hit. But you knew about this.
That's why I said the whole snitching thing. Yeah, that's why I said the whole snitching thing. It kind of goes both ways. Like I get why the no snitching thing is stupid, but at the same time, I also get why people are purposely not snitching to avoid the odds of them getting fucked up. So I get both sides. I think it's dumb, but at the same time, I understand.
People don't snitch just because they don't want to be called a snitch. Like they don't even know why they go to jail.
I think that's
these days is like it's not even about somebody doing something to your people these days, bro. It's like people just it's watered up, bro. Like
that's what I'm saying. It's
the community got to stand behind it, though. You know what I'm saying? Like the community got to see it. Like, oh yeah, he did that, so we all got your back. He told it, but we got your back, bro. Like they not gonna do anything to you.
I get it.
Like it gotta be a community thing because you can't shoot everybody. You know what I'm saying? you gotta go somewhere else and play. Find another playground. You know what I'm saying?
But we can do that. We can do that.
Yeah.
We can do that. If I live on this street, and I know it's some niggas that I really don't rock with like that, and they down on my corner every day selling drugs. It's a lot of traffic. As me as a man on this block, my kids play on this block. Why can't I go down like, hey, yo, look, bro, I know what y'all doing, bro, but y'all might need to find somewhere else to do that at, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Respect is a long way. Now, if they don't want to respect it and they still doing the same shit, then we got to take other forces. But we still can do it as men. We can still protect our own community. We really don't need to snitch. As men, we can stand up and say, look, I got enough. I got 40 brothers. It's 5 niggas down here hustling out of this one house. Us 40 can't make these niggas move, then goddamn it, it's something else we got to do.
And it's steppers out there that's really doing that. It's
exactly.
And organizations that's really doing that in real life today as we speak. They are out here doing it. They're just not being commercialized. They're not
in Detroit.
Mainstream.
In Detroit, you got a group of brothers that walk the street every night with AR-15s, making sure people go home from the store safe. They're doing that right now as we speak.
Yeah.
on a regular basis. And crime has stopped damn near right then as they start walking through the streets. That's why I said, as men, we know enough brothers. Each one of us know enough brothers that are old enough, smart enough, and wise enough to say, yo, this shit gotta change. Somebody has to take a step and say, look, little brother, you don't need to move like this. Let me show you something different.
Yeah.
Come rock with me for a little bit.
I like it.
Look, this is what I done. Yeah, bro, I was in the streets like you. Yes, I sold drugs. Yes, I toted pistols. Yes, I fucked people up for no reason whatsoever. But you don't have to do that. Let me help you out. Let me show you. Everyone, if every man right now on this that's listening worldwide say they find one brother and say, hey, bro, look, let me show you a way. That's a lot of men that now can change their mindset of saying something positive. Because most of these men didn't have a positive outlook from the start. They probably didn't have a father, a grandfather, an uncle, a big brother to show them positive things. So what they got to focus on.
Based on that point, I want to go to my next video, and I want to get you all thoughts from it. Y'all are probably familiar with it, but we're going to talk about it. We'll bust it down.
Come on. I can't. Come on. Come on. Come on. I can't do it. No, I can't. I can't. Yes, you can. Come on. What do you want me to do?
Don't worry about that. I want you to do it till I tell you to stop.
What?
Go, start. Let's go. Come on. Come on. Pick it up. Pick it up. That's it. That's it.
I can't.
Let's go.
This is too hard.
Let's go.
It's too hard.
Okay. Can't even go hard on the last sip. Good job.
You want me to bring you the charger? You can plug it up?
Yeah. Well, it.
So, based on what y'all saw, what are your thoughts?
Hey, some people would say that's harsh, right? And you know,
I loved it.
but
I loved every
maybe I'm
second of it.
different, yeah, because I'm like, he just showed his son that he can go further than his mind is telling him that he can. So it's
He
like
been
he kept saying
phased
I
them at
can't,
the
but
end.
then he did it. He started
Yeah.
killing it. You know what I'm saying? So there's a limit. There's a physical limit, but then you have that mental, you know, capacity to say, no, I could do a little bit more.
Yeah.
Or maybe I say that backwards, because your mind will tell you to stop before your body will.
Yeah.
However you want to put that.
Now,
I
now
think
you
your
right. You
mind,
right.
I think
Because
mentally,
your
you know,
mind
oh,
will
I can't
convince you
do
to
it.
stop everything.
Yeah, but then your body is like, you know, your mind
Now
is
you
telling
can
your
keep
body,
going.
I'm tired,
Yeah.
but you can really keep going, man.
No, I loved it because my daughter does soccer and she's a goalie. She's the tallest thing out there. For her. She got a daddy's height, so she's the tallest thing. So when it comes to being a goalie, she pretty much stopping most of everything. She even got an award for it. They call it a Great Wall. But she and bro, she went like 10 games straight and nobody scored nothing. It wasn't until the 11th game that somebody finally scored something. So they won. They won the whole thing. But in the beginning, I used to like practice with her. I used to like, you know, kick the ball and I get it. I'm an adult. She's a kid. I'm making it hard for her on purpose. Cause I'm like, if I kick it and you can't catch back, you're gonna struggle. But if I kick it, you can catch it from an adult kicking the ball. Them kids is nothing.
You're not gonna stand a
Kids ain't
chance.
nothing. If I'm kicking it and I'm going at it and I bam and I hit it to the goal and you stop that, there ain't no way no kid out there is kicking harder than your dad. Ain't no way no kid moving around like your dad. Ain't no way. So she started just like having a little fits, getting mad. Oh, I'm doing it too fast. I'm going too hard, crying. And if she was a son, like in the video, I'd probably been a little bit more bump on her. Like, so it's my daughter. So I'm like, I had to soften a little bit. But at the same time, I'm giving her that edge. Like, nah, man, don't give me no tears. I don't need no tears. Tears ain't gonna. Is them tears gonna stop that ball? No. Then wipe them away. Is that crying gonna stop that ball? No. All right, then stop doing it. If you cry, you can't see the ball coming. I will kick the ball while she was still crying, and she get mad because it went past her. Stop crying then. So she'll wipe her face. So I was like, all right, I see the ball. All right, then, come on. But see, you gotta mess with her mentally to get them to understand. Before you know it, she's stopping little stuff that I'm kicking at her. Now look at it. They did 11 games. out of 11 games, 10 of them, no team scored on them. Why?
Hey,
Because
that's
I'm
great.
kicking at her as like an adult while she got little kids kicking at, so it's nothing to her. She's catching all of it. So sometimes you
Oh
just
yeah,
gotta
but
you
that's a
gotta
life
push them,
lesson.
even if they cry, if they get emotional. You just gotta push them a little bit more, fuck with their mental a little bit to get them to like understand that what you think is hard isn't really
It ain't
hard.
hard.
You
Oh yeah,
just gotta do it until it don't seem hard anymore.
you gotta grind it out.
Number one thing I love that, and what you just said, CJ, and we need it all, is a father.
That
Yeah,
part.
What you saw was a father,
yeah.
Yeah,
not a dad. You saw a father. What you was being, CJ, is a father. We can all do that if we start becoming father, even if it's to a kid that you don't know. Be a father to them
oh
Mm.
yeah.
because they need it. 80% of our kids are grown up in single parent households, and those same 80% end up in jail or dead. There's no fathers. So if we are fathers, we get the same outcome that you got out of your daughter, and the same outcome Dwight Howard gonna get out of his son.
Yeah.
And
Oh
It's
yeah.
gonna
I'll
be the
take it.
same.
I'll add even more context to that. Let's keep building on that. Not only do we need fathers, we need women to allow fathers to father.
To be
You notice in
fathers.
that video,
Exactly.
there was no women.
No
Facts.
It
women.
was him and his
Leave him
son.
alone. Yes.
Right.
You
Let
stay in
him
there.
go through that. Women allow these men to be
Don't
effective
be so
fathers.
harsh on him. Relax. Come on
Right.
now. Back up.
Feminizing your son.
Back up.
That
No.
Hey,
part.
I'll say this:
No.
my son played basketball, but my wife is as hard on him as I am.
Good.
All
So
praises.
I,
All
I'm
praises.
thankful for that. You know what I'm saying?
Good.
It
For
ain't no
real.
slack.
That's like for me, like
I
conditioning
got
of
a
the mind
question
is the
for
most
y'all.
important thing, of course, because everything start off mental. But I don't. I'm at a tip these days of my life. Like I hate when it's always because of physical stuff. Like we want to condition their mind and push them to be physically better at something. Like that's what I'm kind of get tired of. I'm on the side of read 10 books a damn day before I make you do 10 workouts a day.
Hey,
I
all
like that.
praises.
I
All
like that.
praises.
That's a bar too. I like that.
All praises.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Which is a fair balance at each. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
we always pushing them to be physically better at something. You know what I'm saying? Like not us as individually, but as a
Yeah.
mass, our culture. Like he 9 times making them work out, train them to be a basketball player.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Fuck that.
Not being a doctor.
You push
Or
them to be
lawyer.
the best to make it to that 1% to make that makes it to the NBA.
Right.
What else are
That's a
you
bar.
pushing them? What are you mentally conditioning him for?
Mm-hmm.
But
That's my only thing about that. That's the only thing I
So,
really want to say about
so,
that.
Look, brothers.
I got a
so let me
question.
I
I got a
piggy.
love.
Let me
question for
I
y'all
gotta say
guys.
something real quick, and I gotta go. I love every one of y'all brothers. Y'all keep doing
Love you
what you're
too,
doing, but
bro.
I do gotta leave, bro.
Bless.
Already.
I'm gonna say
Yeah.
Appreciate you,
shalom.
T.
All right.
All
Much
right.
love.
All right,
Bless.
Much
all right.
love.
All right.
Bless, brother.
Let me piggyback off that, Bino. I feel what you're saying, but I do feel like, well, everybody know I work out. I do feel like there's an aspect to that physical, what I want to say.
Motivation.
That physical
Yeah,
barrier,
Physical.
yeah,
it comes with
that physical
mental
barrier, yeah.
fortitude. It
It
builds mental fortitude.
this gets a lot stronger, bro. It gets a
Mm-hmm.
lot stronger. And I say that I'm not so like, yeah, my son played basketball, but my son, he's already learning about stocks because we got him in this program at his school.
That's
He
good.
loves he
That's
loves
good.
What's the
reading.
name of the program?
So
What's the name of the program? What's drop that?
hold on, man.
If you can't think,
It's
please put
it's
it in the
ink.
comments below.
Yeah.
It's like ink or something like that. Hold on. Hey,
Ink.
babe. Lee.
Hey, I'm about to go in a minute too, but I want to say facts, Kev. That's why I say it's a fair balance. You gotta have a fair balance. Like we always show the physical part. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I need to start picking my words better. I just think it's a fair balance in both. Like, but when we always push them, we always pushing them physically from what we see from the outside looking in. You know what I'm saying? Like, but
Oh,
Kev
absolutely.
absolutely right. I just think it's a fair balance in both.
Yeah.
But I gotta go too, y'all, because
All right.
All
I
right,
usually
yeah,
don't be the
okay.
first one to leave, but I can't make these kids wait to eat at 10 o'clock again tonight, man. Like,
I respect it. I
Nice
respect
fans,
it.
man.
All right.
I'm being
Love
a
you.
father.
Love.
So I'm maybe probably
All
gonna
right,
make
you
them.
know, man.
All right, y'all. Hey, look,
All
love,
right,
All right.
man.
yeah.
Love y'all,
Love.
Love,
man.
Love.
Love
love,
y'all.
love, love,
Catch
brother.
y'all next time.
Already.
But yeah, it's he in a magnet program in middle school, and it's called Inc. INC. And I don't know if they have that everywhere or what, but it's down here in South Carolina, man.
That's
But he
dope.
had a
That's
choice to
dope.
do STEM, but he's already smart in math and science. So I'm like, dude, You already comfortable with that. Go learn about
Give
economics
him
and
something that's
stocks
a
and stuff.
challenge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So now it's like, I'm like, dang, yo, he getting that already. And I'm just now getting it like within the last 2 years, like understanding
Swear.
it and getting more involved in it. But it's like he getting that now.
It's good
Kel,
though.
I got a challenge for you.
Yeah.
It's a tall task, but if you accept
Uh-oh.
it, I think that it'll be dope content, and this can go somewhere even further than what you're thinking. I challenge you to gather up the information from Inc. and give us a presentation. You can give it to me. I can put it in a form that makes sense, and I would love for you and your son to come on and for us to kind of give us what he's learning
I like that.
and disseminate the information for those that might not have an Inc. a solution.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
feel me? Because everybody ain't in South
I like that.
Carolina. Everybody ain't got kids that go to magnet school, but all of our children have the capability of learning that goes to
Oh
exposure.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Now, I don't know
Oh yeah.
how proprietary stuff works, but at the end of the day, I'll fight that battle any day of the week. Information is free. And again, this
Yeah.
ain't
Oh
got to
yeah.
be the next episode, but we'll talk in the back
Yeah, we'll
chats
work it out, man.
offline. But I
Oh
think
yeah.
that would be excellent exposure for parents that are looking to get their children to start early in investments.
Oh yeah.
To Bino's point, I do want to speak to this. One thing about sports that sometimes gets missing and lost in the sauce is the reason why it's imperative to get your children involved in sports. And I know Bino understands this, but I want to
Yeah,
give
yeah,
clarity, right? Is that it teaches your children a simulated way of the world and how the world works. You have judges, people that are going to judge your actions. There are winners, there are losers, and there are rules. If these rules are broken, they come with penalties. Not everyone can win. How you prepare speaks to how you perform. That's a life lesson. Teamwork, camaraderie. There's a lot of things intangibly that we get from sports outside of them physically playing, right? And the best way to teach a child is to keep them playing. That's one of the best lessons they ever get, because they think they're having fun. They don't even realize the lessons that are coming behind the fun. But there's a lot more of the intangibles that come behind putting your kids in organized sports, whether they're good or not. So I want to speak to that.
That's facts.
We'll get to one more video. This is one of the deeper videos, and then I think we'll probably end on this note, because we've been at it for a minute, but I think it's been great conversation, fellas. So I appreciate y'all, man, for real. But this one it's going to kind of step on toes, but we're going to get to it. Let's do it.
I have only known this young man 24 hours, and there's no way in the world, just reading his space, that I know he's going to allow a man to abuse a woman in his presence.
She doesn't think about me that way. She doesn't.
Well,
because I
then
just
you
saw
don't
him
need
playing
to be
basketball and going on dates
so
together.
what?
And
Mind your business. You say that you don't see the man that your son is, so I'm asking you, since this is not a demonstration of a man, you need to tell me what man you're using to measure him with. Which one?
My idea.
Which is your idea. Now, is that the idea you trained him up to be?
No.
Oh, so how in the blazing bejesus are you holding him accountable to a standard that you didn't teach him, his father didn't give him, he don't even know what it is, and yet as his mother, you sit in his face and tell him you don't respect him as a man? Tell me how that works. Help me.
Like I said, it was events. It wasn't just.
I'm talking
and
about
it's
one
also
thing.
how he treats me.
Yeah, but I'm
doesn't
talking. Wait,
respect me
hello.
as a mom, and so-
You see, you are a provocative victim. You provoke stuff, and then when you start being held accountable for it, then you start twisting and turning and making the other person wrong. Look at me, Ma. Look at me. Look at me. You just sat here and told your son, who ain't got a needle in his arm, who I'm assuming pays his own rent. He's married to a registered nurse. He's got 3 baby boys. And you just sat here in his face and said, I don't respect him as a man. And you don't think to consider what that does to his heart, to his soul, to his spirit.
I'm sure that's hurtful.
That's heavy.
Hey man, look, that hit a nerve.
Boy.
Mm.
That
Let's
nerve.
talk about it.
I
Let's
low
get
key,
to it.
I low key wanted. I would like to. I wish they if they would say like the reason why she don't respect him as a man, but the say it is just still wrong. That's how I view that. To downright say it is just messed up in and of itself. Um, dang, bro, that yeah, that bothered me.
I
I know
yeah,
I've said
that
this before. I know I've said this before. I don't know if I said it like in the back channel or I said in another pod, but I've always said that I from my experience, I can't talk about other people from but what I've seen is fathers tend to feed the mental more of children than mothers. You know, the fathers when it comes to their sons, they kind of give them a image of what they want to be or what they wish they could have been and try to structure their kid, but it actually helps that kid. While the mother creates this image of a man that she assumes that the son's simply supposed to be. And she can't even teach that image, let alone it being a legitimate version of a man that she should be. Because how could a woman teach a man or a boy to be a man? It's just it makes no sense. So she has to create this fake image for one, which odds are if she tried to teach it to him, it's wrong. And if she didn't try to teach him, she just assumes that he's supposed to grow into this imaginary individual in her head, which is still wrong. While fathers, on the other hand, are actually molding the kid either to be who they are because they want their child to be like them or be a reflection of them, or because they know what they did wrong in their life and from their experiences to help this kid, their son, go into a better direction because he's a man trying to train a
yeah.
boy to be a man. So the fact that she admits that she had this image of a man in her head and says that she didn't try to teach him how to be that that just makes sense. She couldn't do it to begin with.
Yeah.
So that would have been impossible. But the fact that she's like coming at him crazy like that, or disrespecting him or treating him the way she is just downright wrong. To treat your son like that when you yourself can even make him a man to begin with. That's just messed up. And I think based off how they described it, he's married to an RN. He has 3 kids, which means they're doing good. I don't know exactly what his career path is, but if he's married to this woman, they already got 3 kids in. I'm pretty sure he's doing at least decent in his marriage and his life. It's just that he's probably looking for, I guess, that love and validation from his mom, which obviously seems like that ain't the case. So I don't know. I
Yeah.
think she and we said this before, how fathers can inflict damage physically while mothers can do all the damage off of pure words. And I'm pretty sure her
That's
words
what I was about to say.
alone shattered that man tremendously.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
moment they started saying stuff, it hit me. I was just like, oh no. I ain't even him, but I felt it. I was like, no, I don't like that. Because my mom ain't never like came at me like that. But to hear it, bro, I don't know. So
Oh yeah, I was just about to say that, man. How, no matter what the dad does or teaches that child, a mother can come tear it all down just easy.
words.
Right.
Because that
That's what I heard. When I heard
yeah,
that, I heard, "Oh, you just like your daddy." That's what I heard. Like, and you know what I'm saying?
yeah. There you go. She was looking at his father when she was looking at him. That's all
Right.
that was. She got to have somebody to blame, and it
Mhm.
ended up being her son because the father ain't there.
I think we are chasing, following, and blaming ghosts.
Yeah.
We are
There you go.
chasing, following, and blaming ghosts. That woman had an idea of a man that she did not know. She cannot put a physical name to a man she was even trying to compare her son to.
Exactly.
Right.
That
She said
just
her
like your
idea.
daddy is the ghost of a man that used to be with you in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
We have been chasing ghosts for far too long. Our black boys, our black women, our men, we have been chasing ghosts. We have been trying to figure it out with little to no information. And Kale, I want to applaud you for making amends with your father at a later age, because
Oh
that's
yeah,
when the
it was
ghost
tough.
becomes real. That's when the
Yeah.
ghost becomes real. Let me hear the story of the ghost. I'm not saying it's going to always be a positive story or even one that you agree
Yeah.
with, but I think that as adults, the first thing you can do as an adult is stop looking at your parent as your parent and look at them as another adult.
Yep.
I got so much understanding from my parents. Again, I still respect and love them as my parents, but I looked at them as a young man and a young woman that met at a young age. The context allowed me to give grace to build something deeper than them just being my parent, the authoritative figure. Now I love them as people. Outside of what did or did not happen, we can't control that now, right? And just ensuring that, you know, I'm instilling that in my daughter every day. You know what I'm saying? Reminding her that, you know, your father has these same feelings. So when she's upset and she cries, it's important to give her insight. Yeah, there's things that upset me too. The faster I can humanize myself, the less error of her misinterpreting my message or put me on a pedestal that I only fall down from later. As fathers, we love the ego stroke of my daddy's Superman. My daddy can beat up anybody until you do something to fall from grace. So I don't even want to be pedestalized by my daughter. I want to be respected by her. I want her to know that I'll walk this path with you and we'll figure it out together, but I'm not above you. You know, and I think that we have to stop chasing ghosts. That's what I got from that video. We're chasing ghosts, whether that man's father there was or not. Whatever it was he was doing, there wasn't an example for him to even follow, it seems.
Obviously.
And she had no standard even. And again, so we go through life trying to build and conjure shit that comes from nothingness. That's what I got from that.
Boy.
That was tough, man, for his mom to say something like that, dog. Like, that's wow.
Dang. Look, you speeches like me, man. That got it.
Yeah,
Man.
that's
Ain't no
crazy,
way, bro.
bro.
Ain't no way you really coming at your kid like that. And you,
I think hold on. I think we just looking at this one-sided though, man. Like we don't, like you said, CJ, you don't know why. He could be childish as hell. He could not have no job. He could not be, you know what I'm saying? He could drop her off the kids to her every weekend. He could, you know what I'm saying? We don't know why. So
why his wife ain't there then saying that, you know?
Exactly. Why his wife ain't there. You know what I'm saying? That might be why his mama's calling him, you know what I'm saying what she's saying. I don't know, but
let's keep it tall. At least he did it from a marriage.
Yeah.
I mean,
we can argue. We can argue the strength of the limbs, but them roots, they started deep. I'm not saying that they can't be appended, or like you said, that they can't. They're above critique. But I have to give that man credit for at least having a nuclear family. To be wrong, yeah.
3 kids.
3 kids.
He's married.
Wife.
White.
A career wife. She's an RN. RNs be hitting about 80,000 a year minimum, especially they locked in on a hospital.
If they traveling,
I'm
they
talking
travel.
about,
They hit
I'm not talking
6
about his
figures.
wife. I'm not talking about his relationship.
That's
I'm not
real.
talking about none of that. I'm talking about his mother and his relationship with his mother. Why his mother calling him?
But see,
childish.
but see,
my
you
mama
can't
probably
go
called
off of
me
that.
childish for a long time, bro. That's what I'm saying. I can relate to that shit because my mama probably would be like, I ain't gonna say she ain't call me no man because you know what I'm saying, but she would probably be like, yeah, he childish. Ted's childish for, you know what I'm saying, to be 27 years old, like he childish. But you know what I'm saying? When I hit like 30 and I stop being childish, maybe she's like, okay, but now I can see like you are becoming a man. You are becoming, like I said, you don't know what conversations he was having. You don't know what, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we can't just like, you know, but it looked like from the conversation that she really didn't have a good idea what a man was.
Yeah,
So I can
exactly.
understand that. I can understand that, but I'm just saying, still though, we don't know what he's doing to make her feel like, you know what I'm saying? He could be childish as hell. He could be not be paying the bills. She could be related. I'm saying she could be. I'm just saying she could be related. He could be relying on her because she make $80K to pay all the bills, to do everything for the kids, to do it. You know what I'm saying? You never know. Never know. Got to now,
man.
Yeah, we got to now.
Because I get what you're saying, but we only kind of got, you know, Ayana coming at the mom. You know what I'm saying? But normally Ayana is pretty neutral about things. So for her to come at the mom, it almost made me feel like, you know,
the mom's the bad
she
guy.
really ain't got a leg to stand on.
Yeah.
At least
when
in that
y'all
argument.
When she digs on somebody, they the bad guy. And she's digging on that mom. So
Yeah,
whatever that
Wow.
so I'm gonna
conversation
go
was,
find it
None of
though,
them folk.
cause I don't want to throw blame the wrong way, but
Yeah.
my
for that
theory.
situation, for the clip
Cause
that
I
we
could
got,
play the victim to, oh, my mama didn't treat me like a man, but act like no
at
man
some
either. You
point,
know what
like
I'm
I
saying?
said, you gotta forgive, and you probably won't forget, but you gotta forgive, man. Move
But
on, find a way to
Yeah,
move
that's
on.
what I'm saying.
I'll give you one.
Acceptance
Yeah,
and awareness.
I love
Yeah.
it. And I think that also give grace for change. Because what, like you
Oh
said,
yeah.
at one point he could have been childish, but
Right.
being married and making kids is about as adult as it's gonna get.
Three kids.
And I'm not saying that he did it all the right way, but I'd rather my child fumble and fall to the finish line finishing than starting out well and running off the track or not
Yeah.
starting at all. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like I think that like even if what you saying, let's play that role out. Let's say he won't shit for a while. Let's say he's not shitting a marriage. Well, the grace that we give him is he has a marriage to figure it out. He has the extent of the marriage to get it together. Whatever they doing might work for them, and like you say, he might have fucked it up before. But I think that we all have to extend grace. Brittany asked, "How do black men heal from this?" And I think that it starts with grace for each other and for our
Heal from
mistakes and
what?
for our past.
Heal from what? The
All of it, the
mother.
trauma.
Oh, yeah.
She asked that
In
earlier.
that specific situation, he would have to forgive his mom. But I would highly recommend, just off of content, I would say distance. Distance. Forgive, but distance. Because I don't see if she's already created this fake image in her head, and if he's a grown man now. He's about 25 and up. So if she put this image in her head of what a man should be, which is a false prophet, and made it as if he has to be there, he should have been that, and
What was
I
the
guess
image
he
though?
didn't come up to be that, and
What was
she
the image though, bro?
she
She don't
didn't
even
have
know.
one. She admitted it.
Exactly. That's why you
She said
can't
But I'm
say
saying that's
that
why I
with
said a
she said
false
all
life
these. You
prophet.
know
changed.
what
She
I'm saying?
created a false prophet in her head of what he should have been as a man, and he didn't uphold to whatever that was, and she's disappointed in him as a result of that. So if anything, he needed to just be distant. You cannot once a
All right.
person like y'all know me long enough to know that once my mind is locked in on something, once I decide on something, the odds of me changing my mind is minute. It might happen,
Yeah.
but odds are it ain't. So if she already had this image in her head of what a man should be, this false prophet image, and as she stated, he's not a man or whatever this image of a man that she assumed he should have been.
Mhm.
If it's already stuck in her head that he should have been this, he wasn't this, he's a disappointment to me now.
All right.
Distance
So
yourself, bro.
let me explain my situation then. I went from Berkeley County to Washington State. You know what I'm saying? Of course, I went to basic training Fort Benning, but from Berkeley County to Washington State. Now, I also got married. I also had 2 kids. That don't mean that you know what I'm saying, that you in adulthood. I mean, you do in adulthood, but that like mentally, that don't mean, you know what I'm saying? Like we just said, like when you go through traumas at a certain age, you get stuck in that mindset until you know what I'm saying, learn how to overcome shit. So just because you get married and have kids and have, you know what I'm saying, that don't mean that you become a man. And then maybe she couldn't tell you what a man was in her mind, but she was like, well, damn sure ain't what he doing. You know what I'm saying? I know for a fact it ain't that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, like, I can relate to what she's saying because I thought I was being a man. I got a wife, I got kids, I'm paying my own bills, but it's deeper than that, bro. It's a mind state, bro, being an
We gotta
adult.
find the
You know what
video.
I'm
We
saying?
gotta find the video.
I think that your point would have credence if she had a measurable standard. Without her having a standard, you just somebody watching from the peanut gallery. Of course, I could have told Steph Curry if you'd have pulled up from the corner pocket, you'd have hit that 3 versus being a brick. But it's different when you on the court playing. And I think that when asked where are you pulling this from, the fact that she couldn't say anything tangible, I think that discredit whatever her critique was, because your critique has to be based on some measurement or some ruler that's realistic. Because other than that, I can always change my mind. There's a saying that the person that goes to the gym and has a personal trainer can never outperform the trainer. because there's always something else I can critique. There's always something else I can put on you. And so you can never I can have a judgment on you that you never outlive because I am the one that set the standard. But if my standard ain't based in shit, you'll never reach it. Just like right now. You see what I'm saying? Like right now, let's say someone saw you at that early age, was like, Water, you're not a man. But let's say you changed all those things. Let's say in your mind, Water, you like, yo, I'm as man as it is gonna get. They'd be like, well, but you still ain't dead. Like there's always gonna be a negating factor for someone that wants to keep moving the goalposts. And I think she spoke to the mother being a provocateur, meaning when it's time for you to be accountable for your words, you'll dance and slip and slide a little bit more. And I'm not saying that she didn't have valid points at some point, but I do think that the overarching message was it's almost impossible for you to guide, even if he's not what you want him to be, because you don't have a standard unit of measurement. It's hard for you to even help him, even if you saw fault or flaw. You lose that authority when you lack the measuring stick to tell me what I should be.
Right.
In my opinion. Now, if she'd have said, you feel me? Like, she'd have asked her, like, what's your measurement of man? She'd be like, my granddaddy. Then the conversation probably went somewhere because then it'd been like, okay, well, what did your granddaddy do? But because she couldn't name nothing,
there was nothing there.
Yeah, it kind of made it fall on his face, even if she did have a point.
Right.
Oh yeah, but I mean, back to you, Water.
Yeah.
Like you said, you know, so the situation you described with yours, right? Married, kids, when you moved to Washington or whatever, you were more of a man than some of the other guys out here. It just depends on who's measuring you.
Yep.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
I mean, you could
like
say
you
that.
might you might not have been the man you wanted to be or what you have in your head to be, but to somebody else, they probably look at, oh, this guy might got it together. I don't know what you were doing. I'm just saying it could be.
Yeah.
Somebody was looking at you saying, hey, this guy married, got kids, he paying his bills. You know how many men not doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess you could look at.
Give yourself a little credit. You know, don't say. I just want you to acknowledge, like, give credit where it's due, man. Like you may not have been at the the level of manhood
that you had in your head,
had in your head, but at some point, you were getting there, but like give yourself that credit though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I would give myself that credit, but I'm talking about my mama, bro. I'm talking about her seeing me as her. You know what I'm saying? Like me growing up and being. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I know my mama had a standard. Like, you know what I'm saying? For what she said, man,
did your mom have a standard though?
Yeah,
if your mom had a standard, that's one thing. Lady in the video admitted that she didn't have no real standard, no real thing to compare and contrast to be like, hey, this action figure right here, I need you to be like him. She didn't even have no, it was just empty space, and she expected him to be empty space. That didn't make sense. Your mom
gave you the vision of what that man that she's looking for, right? What she's you knew where to go. You knew what the target was. This guy don't. It was an ideal. That idea can change if she not saying what
at any point in time. She could adjust it, change it, twist it at any point. She'll forget what she had. He could change. There was a situation where I was dating this girl in high school, and it was short term for a reason. Because I met her. I'm always gonna be me regardless. But I was really rocking with this girl, and she would like name little stuff that she didn't like about me or whatever. And I was like, all right, man, I could fix that. I could change that. Oh, you too hood. You too this. You too that. And I'm thinking to myself, like, man, ain't too much too hood I can really change. You know, where I'm from, it is what it is. But I'm like, all right, I'll soften down. I'll dumb it down. Let me do this. She likes this. She like that. So I'm making these adjustments now because that's what she wanted. This is what she's asking for. But as I'm making the adjustments, at some point, she don't like the adjustments. I did the adjustments for you, but now you don't like them. Oh, I liked it when you was a little bit tougher and rougher. But in the beginning, you told me you ain't like that. I was too hood. I was too this. So that means to tell me that the image that you told me before that you wanted, these standards, I changed myself to meet these standards, only for you to back, like they take a step back and be like, no, actually change it to this. Yeah. So if I change it from this to this, and if I go back to this, and then all of a sudden you want me to change it to this, what are you doing?
And Woody, I'll give you one even better than that. the idea and the opinion of the mother stopped happening the moment that man said, "I do." Her standard, her thoughts,
Because that marriage
her
had
opinion
to been it.
don't
That
mean
marriage had to been
shit.
it.
Yeah.
You have to cleave unto your wife. At some point, sometimes it means closing the door to other people's opinions, thoughts. If it works for you and her, fuck what everybody else got to say.
That's why I said he
Respectfully.
married.
But you
He
can see
married.
that he don't
need a
feel like that though.
distance.
You can see that he obviously don't feel like that. His mother is
from the
important
video.
to him.
Yeah.
And he, you know what I'm saying? He care about how she feel about him. So
Because he 3 kids in and he's still feeling that way about his mom's. Come on now.
Right.
Yeah, but
He could be the only. He could be the only child.
And like I am, you know what I'm
He
saying?
might feel
That
like
could
he
be
owe
it.
her,
That could be
you
it.
know, or something like that. So,
But
he
guess
might
what?
just,
If as a, I think that the Dwight Howard video spoke a lot to parenthood. If I'm always pleased with where you at, then that means you'll get stagnant, and you'll stop growing. So if I always keep raising the bar just out of your reach, it's gonna force you to stretch. It's gonna force you to get uncomfortable again. I don't want you to get too comfortable because I need you to keep going. So maybe in her mind, the bar kept elevating because she needed her son to grow into his final form. Maybe she didn't think he was there yet, right? And maybe she just didn't articulate that well. But you said, with her giving birth to him, she knows what he's capable of. And in her mind, she's like, bro, you giving 30%. Now, the rest of the world might be impressed, but boy, you at 30.
Right.
You playing. So I can agree to disagree to that point. And I think every parent thinks that of their kids. Like, you can be doing more, and I'm going to make you do more. So I get that. But at the same time, I will say, fellas, the moment that you cleave unto a wife, you got a family, you got to cut all that other shit out, bro, because all it's gonna do is cause chaos in your home.
So I said he need to forgive her, but create distance.
Yep.
Because ain't no way.
Love
ain't no way you
distance.
married 3 kids in and it's still inflicting you like this. At this point, you got to create distance.
Real shit.
You just hurting yourself. Nah.
He got to forgive his mom because he can't love his wife properly. You know what I'm saying?
Holding grudges against mom. That's why I would say down, try to see what, you know, what can I do to, you know what I'm saying? Like, what am I doing wrong or something? Like, I would ask some type of questions to figure, like, because, I mean, it got to be some type of resolution. Where am I missing the bar? Or what, you know, what did I do? Where, you know? I did ask my mama that, bro. That's my word, bro. Like, I keep it real. Like, no, like, what, I mean, she told me, like, bro, you still out here, you got kids, you still out here in these streets, you ain't doing this, you ain't doing that, you doing this and that. I'm missing the bar, bro. You feel me? Like, I go from, you know, being in the army, like you say, having kids, having it, to getting out the army and going back to doing, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's
okay.
But I do want to walk it off of your personal situation because I think that your mother had a healthy relationship enough with you to hold you accountable, and you respected her enough to listen to you, which isn't always the case from these mothers that are giving the advice and riding their sons. That's why I'm going to lean on cleave unto your wife. Y'all figured it out together as a unit. Those that respect you and love you uphold that, and those that don't will watch from the peanut gallery as y'all be successfully married. But sometimes you gotta know it's time for you to get off the coaching bench and carry your ass to the peanut gallery. Because you ain't shooting with us in the gym. Respectfully.
I
but
agree.
knowing, you know, which type of parent you got, that's a different conversation. But listen, fellas, we are at the 3.5 hour mark.
Woo.
Salute to my Raw bunch, man. Yeah, y'all guys are soldiers, man. Salute to all the panelists that showed up, gave wisdom to everybody watching. I hope y'all learned something. You know, even if we didn't do anything but spark a different conversation between you and the homies, even if we didn't do nothing but motivate you to then find a positive role model for your children, for your sons. Again, we're just here to bring awareness to start the action. We will get to the actionable items. I'm gonna get with Kel in the back channels. We're gonna talk about ways to bring y'all solutions. Again, this was a heavy topic. We got through it with a lot of grace and understanding. And again, thank you, panelists. I appreciate you all. Your insight is invaluable.
Hey, appreciate you. Want to give like final solutions?
Yeah. Give us some solutions before we get up out of here.
I would definitely say if you're a mother and you are a mother of sons, whether it's just one or multiples, I would say don't try to be the father figure. Don't try to be the male figure. Don't just literally don't try to be that tough image that you assume in your head. Don't do that. If you don't have a male figure that you can be trustworthy, I'm sure you got one trustworthy male figure that you can have around. If not, put them in sports, get a coach. A male figure needs to be in their life that can really structure them better, because I promise you, you will fail. You will fail. I don't care how tough you think you are. At the end of the day, you are a woman. You are a mother. It is not your job. Your image will not make that impact that a man could make, that a male father figure or manly image could make. So don't do it. Get that male image out there. Otherwise, you will cause more harm than what you think.
Real. What you got for me, Kel? And then we'll go to Woody.
Yeah, I think, man, CJ hit the nail on the head, man. But I'm gonna go back to what I was saying earlier, though, man. You gotta forgive whatever situation you're in, whatever's holding you back from moving forward. Forgive and move on, like for real. That weight off your shoulder is like nothing else, man. Things become more clear. You know, your situation, personal situation with your home, your house is just gonna improve from that point on, man. So just forgive. I ain't gonna say you gotta forget now, but just forgive.
Don't
genuinely
forget.
forgive. Yeah.
I like it. What you got for me, Woody?
I would say young man, young lady, youth, the youth of tomorrow. It's okay to be smart. It's okay to be, some other than a sports player. It's okay to be,
okay,
you know what I'm saying? It's okay to be something, politician, lawyer, doctor. It's like we got enough shooters. We got enough, people doing the wrong thing. So, let's focus our attention on making and being the change, learning to become.
That part. I'll close with this. To all my men, all my kings that are doing it the righteous way, you owe it to those that came before you to reach back to those that are yet to come and expose them to something different. It is your charge, it is your task to expose someone around you to something different. You don't have to say a lot because they're not listening anyway. They're watching. You owe it to them to expose them to something different. We can't tell them what to do without following it up with action. Make them uncomfortable for a little while so they can be comfortable with a different path. That's all I got.
All right.
Blessed.
Love, fellas.
Love to the
All right,
guys.
love it, man.
All right, man.
Yes, man. Y'all have a good
Raw
one.
bunch.
Already.
Peace.
Till next time.
Facts.
Yes, sir.
All right. Y'all have a good one.
Peace. Great show, man. Y'all make sure y'all tap in with us Wednesday. We're going to keep getting to it, man. We're going to talk to our ladies, and we just going to keep it pushing. But for now, hope y'all enjoy Statistics, Problem Solutions. Man, it's Jay Strada signing out.
What they really want from me, only God knows. They 10 toes, she is what I'm gonna be. What they really want from me, only God knows. They 10 toes, she is what I'm gonna be. What they really want from me, only God knows. They 10 toes, she is what I'm gonna be. What they really want, I'm gonna be. Solo move solo, on me a 3. Me and my pistol, self-made dreams. I see smoke screens, fake deaths on the scene. See more loyalty from these fucking dope fiends. Fake friends address them more or less. Only day ones cause the mama undressed. Rep the same hood, but it ain't good. Fall of hell to get out, left from where they stood. What's understood never need to be explained. Blood leaves the heaviest stains. Gun residue remains. In the flesh a few days. Inhale the demons of pain. What I speak seems insane. If you ain't bagged up the brick of the purest cocaine. Hennessy and heal most pain. Most days broken bones ache whenever it rains. What they really want, what they really want from me, only God knows. Say gentle, she is what I'm gonna be. What they really want, what they really want from me, only God knows. Stay 10 toes, she is what I'm gonna be. Topic of discussion even when I get low. Check my bank account to see if gossip paid though. No, so I keep doing, let them keep talking. Legend shall grow, bow how we used to. Remember what he went through. Who the fuck sent you? They don't know what I'm into. Transparency means flow past that. Move like a ghost, my bones and flesh. Money stay silent, pistol stay beside. Mind screaming loud, the heart keep it quiet. Money stay silent, pistol stay beside. Mind screaming loud, the heart keep it quiet like. What they really want,